Good morning, Kin Brigade. Insane Kitten here. Back for more Chaos Child. Right. Also, yes, I've shortened my pre-stream roll for this game just because this game is so long. There's so much of this game. So I figured I'd jump into it. Everything displaying correctly, it looks like. Alright, looks like everything's a go. Where did we leave off? Save 11, I believe. We'd heard that Ito had been released, but I didn't know that he'd recovered enough to meet with people. He was still considered a person of interest in the case, so they were refusing most visitors, but Arimura said we could get Shinjo to let us in. For his part, Shinjo probably hoped that we could get some information from Ito, and if Arimura was there, we could tell if Ito was telling the truth. But is that really the case, though? Because... okay, I guess at this point they still believe that her truth-telling abilities was reliable for this kind of thing. I wanted to know how Ito was doing too. We decided to have Yuto and Yamazoe stay with Momose while we were gone. She'd already taken care of Yamazoe before, so we knew it would be safe. Ito's room was on the top floor of the hospital. There were detectives stationed around the floor, but Shinjo must have sent word because they let us straight through.
Ito.
This low-res image here. You can see it's all pixelated. Ito looked up at us from the bed and grinned, just a little.
それにみんなも来てくれたのか。まあな。で、どうだ？調子か。体調は悪くない。と思う。
Oops, sorry. That was my coaster. But his color was good, and he didn't seem to be in a lot of pain. Wait, I think I missed a line there. I'd expected Ito to be barely conscious, but...
思ったより元気そうでよかった。あ、これお見舞い。果物くらいは食べられるんでしょ？
ああ、悪いな。気を使ってもらっちまって。
It felt like the energy that had made Ito himself had vanished.
それで、
I started to talk and then fell silent. From what I'd heard, Ito had lost all of his memories of the incident. I wanted to see if that was true, but how to ask?
ゆいちゃんのことだろ？覚えてるの
Awkward.
か？
Do you remember killing my little sister?
刑事さんにも聞かれてるしさ。
Well, do you? I couldn't tell if he was smiling or crying.
ごめんな。俺がちゃんと守ってやれれば。
Mio.
ゆいちゃんだって助かったかもしれないのにな。
You're the one that actually cut her apart, so.
伊藤くん、ゆいが助かったかもってどういうこと？
What?
だって俺の目の前で殺されたんだろ？彼女。
Wait, he doesn't realize he was the one who killed her? What was going on?
本当に覚えてないんだよ。
Oh no, they didn't tell him the truth.
この数週間の間、何があったのか。なんというのか、こう、ありがちな言い方だけど、もやがかかったみたいっていうかさ。だから正直、なんで自分がこんなところにいるのかもわからねえんだよ。
Uh-oh. I looked at Arimura. She nodded silently. That meant he was telling the truth. Suddenly, Ito looked around the room in surprise.
あれ？そういえば、尾上はどうしたんだ？あ、なんか静かだと思ったら、あいつがいないからか。何かあったのか？あ、いや。
ちょっとね。学校で居残りだって。
あいつらしいや。
伊藤先輩にもよろしく伝えてくれって言ってましたよ。
そうか。まあ、顔見られないのは残念だけど、そのうち来るよう言っといてくれよ。病室ってのはどうにも退屈でさ。
If he didn't remember, there was no need to force him to.
伊藤君。
悪い。久しぶりにいろいろ思い出そうとしたら、ちょっと疲れたみたいだ。
そう。それじゃあ私たち、そろそろおいとまするわ。
わざわざ来てくれたのに、悪いな。
いや、いいんだ。気にするな。
Ito sank down into the bed and smiled at us weakly as we left the room. Unfortunately, it was true that he didn't remember anything. No, he hadn't just forgotten. He'd replaced the bad memories with ones that were better for him. But he was a victim too, in a way. It wasn't right to blame him and force him to confront the truth. I felt conflicted about it, though. Would Nono and I ever truly be able to be friends with him again? I wondered about that as I headed for home. Nothing happened for the next 2 days. Sadaka was still leaving us alone. It might be time for me to head back to school, but with Yuto and Yamazoi to worry about, maybe it was still too soon. And then she showed up again. Don't they need to go to school too?
チャオス先輩方。あ、ウキッチもユートッチも。チャオスです。
She'd won Yuto and Yamazoi over too.
それで、今日は何しに来たんだよ。
あらまあ、ずいぶんとご挨拶ですね。この前言ったじゃないですか。ここが碧峰学園新聞部出張所だって。
The corkboard was already situated behind us. I couldn't see it from here, but I would if I looked around. It made the whole place feel cramped.
部活はそれぞれの自主性に任せる。だからわざわざここに来る必要はない。そもそも有村、お前文芸部だろ。
いやー、文芸部で培った文章作成のスキルを新聞部でも役立てればと。それに今日は頼まれ物があってわざわざ来たんですからね。感謝される言われはあれど、文句言われる筋合いはないはずですえへん。
Arimura puffed her chest out proudly.
頼まれ物？
残念ながら宮代先輩ではなくクルス先輩に。私に？何かしら。さあ、ただこれを渡してくれって川原先輩が。川原くんが？
Just as Nono took a stack of handouts from Arimura, her phone began to ring. She looked at the screen and ignored it. I didn't intend to look, but from where I was sitting, I caught a glimpse of it. It was Kawahara, the person we were just talking about. Is this a different game? What do you mean by is this a different game? No? And hello, below average cheese. How are you? But no, this is not a different game. This is the same game I've been playing all of this week. Chaos Child. Unless you mean like different like playthrough or something. Is that what you mean? We are working through the different endings that we need to unlock in order to get the true ending. I thought you beat it. Okay. So we did beat we did play through once to get the common ending, which you get like on the first time you play this game. Yeah. So usually with visual novels like these, they have different endings, and sometimes sometimes there's a true ending that is locked behind all the other endings you have to get before you get the true ending. So for this particular game, in order to get the true ending, you need to unlock all the other endings, which are all the other girls' endings. And how many did we get? We got Hinae's ending and also Hana's ending. So we need to get... Now we're working on Nono's ending, and then the next ending will be Uki's ending. and then I think that's it. And then after that, we'll be able to do the true ending. So there are technically 6 different main endings altogether.
それはちゃんと全員に連絡して滞りなくやってもらってるから大丈夫よ。
Sorry, I didn't mean to go into like a big explanation about it, but yeah, that's what I'm doing, and that's what inflates the play ending, or sorry, not the play ending. That's what inflates the playtime for this game so much. Otherwise, if a person was just to play this game only once, and you only just get the common regular ending, that would only take you like about 25 hours. But maybe 25, 30 hours. It depends on how fast you read. What did he want then? Oh, he keeps calling her. True ending hype, right? It's like, of course you want to know what really happened, right? Because the normal ending just, it doesn't really tell you very much about what's going on. I don't think anyone could be satisfied just playing this game, although I wonder if there have been people who play this game and they don't realize that you're supposed to technically... The game is designed for you to keep replaying it so that you get all the different endings to get the full story. And at the same time, there was a knock on the door. If that was Kawahara on the phone, who was at the door? Was it Serika? Tension filled the room. With the phone ringing, we couldn't pretend that no one was there. Should we answer or not? Just as I finally decided to stand up and answer it.
クルス、いるんだろ。僕だ、川原だ。開けてくれ。
It was Kawahara, the boy who was calling on the phone.
突然訪ねてきてすまない。
Well, yeah, you're just kind of barging in a little bit. Kawahara bowed as he came inside.
もしかしてさっきの電話は
イルスでも使われると困るからな。悪いとは思ったけど、確かめさせてもらった。
That's his way of like double checking. Oh, hey, yeah, I hear her phone ringing. So she can't pretend not to answer the door. In a cheap apartment like this, you could hear the phone ringing from the hallway. He must have figured that out. But why did he have to go through all this trouble? Maybe Serika was controlling him just like she'd done with Ito. Either way, it would be best to be careful.
それから気づいているだろうが、有村に頼み事をしたのも、クルスたちの住んでいる場所を知るためだ。
Wait, they still think that
そのことに
Serika
ついても謝る。
mind controlled Ito? I guess they don't know a lot about it in this
そうだったんですか？
route.
待って、それじゃあ私つけられて
Was I followed? Wait, hold on. So I could find out where you lived. Oh. Dun dun dun. She evidently hadn't noticed. I whispered in her ear.
おい、嘘はわかるんじゃなかったのか。
だってこれ持ってってくれって頼まれただけでそれだけなら嘘じゃないし。
That's true, that's not a lie. What a useless power. Wow.
その川原くん、どうしてそんなことを？
See, that was kind of why I was disappointed that Nono's power is also similar to Arimuna's, where she can tell the truth or not. And yeah, Nono's is even worse because her accuracy is like 60%. Nono glanced at Yuto and Yamadoi, who were shaking in fear in the corner of the room.
決まってるだろう。クルスが学校に来ないからだ。
だからそれに関しては言ったじゃない。今は大変な時だからって。
大変なのはわかる。でも、だからっていつまでもこうやって休んでるのはおかしいだろ。
それにはいろいろと事情があるのよ。
事情？だったら、その事情ってやつを説明してくれよ。
それは。
She fell silent. She certainly couldn't tell him that Serika might be after her
俺に
life.
は相談できないことな
Okay.
のか。
That's why they were staying home, because they were scared that Serika might come after them at school.
ごめん。
もしかして、そいつのせいじゃないだろうな。
Kawahara looked at me.
そうか。やっぱり宮代のせいなんだな。また宮代がクルスを巻き込んでるんだろ。だから学校に来られないんだな。そうだな。そうなんだろ。
Yep, it's always Miyashiro's fault.
いや。
I wanted to say something back, but I couldn't. It was partially my fault, after all. Studeka had done all this because she thought it would make me happy, which meant that the reason we were stuck here was my fault.
おい宮代。俺は言ったな。クルスを巻き込むなと。
いや。
違うの、川原くん。タクルのせいじゃないの。
だったらなんで来られないんだよ。
それは家族のことだから。だから川原くんには。
家族って言ったってどうせ本物の家族じゃないだろ。
She doesn't have any real family, you dick. Wow. I could see Yuto freeze in the corner of the room. Yamatsue was next to him, rubbing him gently on the back. Kawahara hadn't noticed the change that had overtaken the rest of the room. He was still talking.
宮代だって今一緒に住んでる奴らだって所詮は家族ごっこだろ。そもそも付き合いなら俺たちの方が長いはずじゃないか。
Ouch. Is he jealous of them? He's jealous of them.
子供の頃俺たちいつも一緒だっただろ。俺とクルスとそれから南沢と。俺はさ、あの頃から俺はクルス、お前のことが好きだったんだよ。
Oh my god, this is when he chooses to confess to her. Worst timing ever. Another shockwave went through the room. It was a sudden confession of love. Of course, even I knew that Kawahara was in love with Nono, but I didn't expect him to say it in front of so many people. Even Arimura was stunned into silence.
もう一度言う、クルス。俺は君のこと。
待って川原くん、その話はまた違う時に。
いや、証人もいることだし、この際だからきちんと言っておく。
He's purposely using this audience.
川原くん。
なんでそんな困った顔するんだよ。
He's always got such a very sour-looking face.
だって。
He's not a very happy fellow.
お前だって分かってただろ。
それは。
Oh, awkward.
俺は本当はいつだってお前と二人でいたかったんだ。南様の存在も邪魔だった。こいつどこかへ行ってくれればいいのにって思ってた。
Wow. The truth comes out. That's awkward.
でもお前はいっつもあいつを暴れんで、どこへ行くにも千里も一緒に千里も一緒にって。俺がどれだけあいつがいなくなればいいって思ってたかわかるか。
Wow. Nono's face twisted in pain. It must have hurt to hear him talk about our friend like this. Normally Kawahara would have picked up on that. But after coming out in front of so many people and saying that he liked her, blood must have rushed to his head. Seems awfully selfish for someone you love.
やっとあいつが南沢がいなくなってくれたと思ったのに。そしたら今度は家族だって。冗談じゃない。宮代なんかより俺の方がずっとお前のこと知ってる。お前のこと分かってやってる。
I don't think you do.
なあ、クルス。
Kawahara looked straight into Nono's eyes. I could see that his eyes were a little bloodshot.
もう一度言う。
Creepy.
お前のこと好きだ。俺の気持ち受け入れてくれるよな。
Wow, just forced her into saying it, you know, make it awkward. Nono glanced around the room looking upset as everyone watched in silence. Finally, she frowned and bit her lip.
川原くんの気持ちは嬉しい。
それじゃあ。
でもごめんなさい。私、川原くんの気持ち受け取れない。
I don't feel that way about you.
どうして。
Oof. Kawahara's voice rose in anger.
どうしてだよ。宮代か。こんな奴のどこがいいんだ。
そういうところよ。
は？
タクルは私の弟よ。そうやって弟のこと悪く言われて喜ぶ姉がいると思う？
弟だって赤の他人だ。
でも私にとっては大事な家族なの。
Nono.
彼女の千里のことだってそう。私は別に彼女のことを憐れんでたわけじゃない。それにあの子はもう死んでしまったのよ。死んだ友達のこと悪く言うなんて。川原くん、あなたどうかしてる。
Hi, Izzy. I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to stick to my morning schedules. So here I am, playing my weeaboo game. How are you? I sound a bit tired. Oh no. That's not good. Kawahara looked like he was about to say something, but then he closed his mouth in frustration.
お願いよ。
Probably about that.
帰って。
More likely less. But that's pretty normal for me if I do night streams, so I really should probably stop doing the night streams on the days that I have set as morning streams.
クルス。
I just have trouble like finding a good stopping point when I stream at night. Well, I'm cooking currently, but I saw you were online and I thought I need to support. Aw, that's really sweet of you.
お願いだから帰って。少し頭を冷やし
I
て。
really appreciate you
そうしたら
stopping
いつもの
by.
川原くんに戻ってくれる
Midnight
って
is the perfect
信じて
point.
るから。
Yeah, I wish I could like just stop. I don't know. I've just been really into this game, so I've been like playing this game a lot whenever I have the chance to.
わかったよ。今日のところは帰るよ。
It's hard too because it's like I have a kid, so I tend to stream during hours when he's either like at school, so that would be like right now, or when he goes to bed. So that's why I tend to want to stay up longer to so that way I can get more time in like my games. I mean, I guess if I was more on the ball, I could start earlier in the morning. I started, I think, probably an hour later than I could have today. Although I'm really not a morning person, but I'm trying my best to like try and do this morning stream. Sometimes you need to chill. Yeah, I was kind of just chilling in the morning when I got back after I dropped off my kid to school and smashed it shut as he cursed. Wait, did I miss a line there? He headed for the door and he just like slammed it. How rude. He just like bust in here and then he like professes love for Nono, expecting her to be like, I love you back. But she didn't, and he got mad and he stormed out. Very mature. Well, I'll go cook, but I'll lurk you at darts. Aw, thank you. And have fun cooking. Well, what are you cooking actually, by the way? What are you cooking? And do you have enough for everybody? The tension drained from the room and I could finally take a breath. Burgers from scratch? Oh. That sounds so good. And you just made a cake on top of that, so you have burgers and cake? Wait, what are you doing? Are you like cooking for like a party or something? that would be me, like burgers and a cake. That would be like an anticipation for a party or something, but I'm not a very good cook, period, so. No, this is my evening. Oh, I see. I see. Just making a lot of food. All that food. Makes me jelly. I love cooking and baking. That's nice. I'm not very good at baking, but I wish I was better at baking. But I'm not really that great at it. Baking is therapeutic. Nice. Gaming is more my thing. More my therapeutic hobby, so.
私もあの人苦手です。
But baking is a lot more useful hobby, I would say. Well, that's my therapeutic one too. Nice, nice. It didn't seem like Kawahara was very popular, but yeah, that's kind of a given, seeing as their first impression of this guy is him storming in and yelling at Nono about how her family is not a family. Basically, not that I didn't know why. But gotta go. Got some meat and grill already. Thank you, and thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
いや、僕は言われるのは慣れてるから。
もう、そうだ、お茶入れよ。ね、気分変えましょう。
The tiny room was soon filled with the scent of British tea, and peace finally returned, except...
有村、どうした？
いえ。
Arimura would sometimes look at Nono as if she was thinking about something. And then, the next day...
いやー、この部屋寒いっすね。暖房とかないんですか？
おい、なんで今日も来るんだよ。
だから部活だって言ってるじゃないですか。うん。
その割には部活らしい活動なんて何一つしてないじゃないか。
Lol.
それは部長が指針を示さないからです。
You're not an official newspaper club member, though.
しばらくは各自の自主性に任せるって言っただろ。
指示とかないと、ひなえどうしていいかわかんない。
わかんない。I wanted to punch her. I wanted to punch her right then and there.
いいじゃない。
Poor Hinae.
どうせ毎日退屈してるところでしょ。
さすがクルス先輩は宮代先輩と違って話がわかるなあ。あ、クッキーおいしい。
Oh, hold on. I'll be back in like a minute. Okay, I'm back. See? Oh, wait, hold on. She already said that. Arimura was already digging into the tea and cookies that Nono had made.
もしかしてこれっておからですか？
あ、わかる？おからもらったから試しに作ってみたの。
Okara?
うん。
Or okra?
でも嬉しいわ。タクルったらそういうの全然分かってくれないんだもん。
そんなこと分かったところで世の中の情報とは何の関係もないだろう。知識っていうのはもっと別のところで培うものであって。
はいはい、分かった分かった。
Arimura grinned as he watched us.
何？
なんだかすっかりおしどり夫婦の貫禄ですな。
バカ言うな。家族なんだから当たり前だろ。
そうよ、家族なんだもの。
家族ね。
In a very husband and wifey kind of way.
なーに？
いえ、別にいいですけど。そうそう、それより実は今日は先輩方に聞きたいことがあって来たんですけど。
All that wasted time and now this. If she wanted something, she should have said so.
クルス先輩って南沢千里って人とお友達だったんですよね。
え？
I leaned forward, surprised to be hearing that name now.
ほら、昨日そんな話をしてたでしょ。それでちょっと気になって。
ええ、小学校の頃よく一緒に遊んでたわ。川原くんと3人で。
ふーん。それじゃあ南沢さんってどんな人だったんです？
どうしてそんなこと聞くの？
いやいや、ちょっと
Why
興
are
味が
you
ありま
being
して。
nosy? I was curious too. Standing Minamisawa was the girl we'd seen in AH Tokyo General Hospital when I was a kid, the one we'd left behind. I'd always thought that she might be the killer, but not that I knew that I was wrong. I'd only seen her for an instant, but she'd had a huge effect on my life. Thinking back, it was strange that I hadn't asked her about her before. Who would you ask, though? Katsuki must have been interested too because she was leaning forward and listening intently.
千里はおとなしい子だったわ。大勢の中に入っていくのが苦手で、私たち以外のことはあまり遊びたがらなくて。でも優しい子だったわ。
なるほどなるほど。じゃあ彼女の家庭環境について。
それはごめんなさい。彼女の家のこととかあまりよく知らないのよ。だからもういいでしょ。
Wow.
でもお友達だったんですよね。
友達だってお家のことまでは普通知らないでしょ。それに私そろそろ夕飯の支度もしなきゃいけないし。
ああ、こいつは失敬。私ったらついジャーナリストの血が騒いじゃって。
何がジャーナリストだよ。それらしい活動なんて一度も。
それじゃあんまりゆっくりしてもご迷惑でしょうし、私たちは帰りますかね。
あ、
Harimoto grabbed Kazuki's hands just before she could take another cookie, then stood up.
というわけで送ってください、宮代先輩。
は？なんで僕が？
だって事件はまだ終わってないんですよ。そんな中か弱い女の子2人だけを帰らせるなんて状況のすることじゃないですよね。
Yeah, and you're a real right-sider, aren't
そんな
you?
の状況とは全く関係ないこと。
それじゃあ宮代先輩ちょっと借りていきますね。失礼しました。
待て、僕が行くとは一言も。
I ended up walking them home despite my protests. Why did I have to do this? I wasn't even sure they'd come over for her anyway. And on top of all that, Arumeta had fallen strangely silent. Kazuki was always quiet, but experience had taught me that whenever Arumeta wasn't talking, it meant trouble. Of course, it usually meant trouble when she was talking too. We walked along in silence before Arumeta finally opened her mouth.
嘘ついてますよ、クルス先輩。
え？
それも南沢千里っていう人のことで何か隠してます。
My heart thudded loudly.
どうしてそんなこと？
どうしてって先輩も知ってるじゃないですか、私の能力のこと。
それはそうだけど。
How she was lying? Nono was lying? To me? I was worried about sending Minami-sama as well, but between the two, that was the bigger shock.
それは確かなことなのか？
なんなら私の能力もう一度お見せしましょうか。
I could see her dye sword floating out of the corner of my eye.
いや、大丈夫だ。
Nono was hiding something, but why?
実は昨日話した時に気づいたんですよ。ほら、川原先輩と南沢千里さんの話してたでしょ。 あの時クルス先輩、南沢千里さんは死んだって言ってたけど。
And that was a lie. She said that before too.
じゃあ南沢千里は生きてる？
Or we found that out in the common
と
route.
クルス先輩は思っているってことになりますね。
So there's still some mystery around Senri Minamisawa. Senri Minamisawa was alive. But why would Nono have to hide that?
それから彼女のことよく知らないって言ってましたが、あれも嘘ですね。
What Arimoto was saying was probably true. Nono knew Senri Minamisawa very well, and she believed that she was alive. Why did she think so? There were two possibilities. One was that she knew for a fact that Minamisawa was actually alive. The other was that she wanted to believe. If she'd consistently said she thought Senri was dead, then...
まあ今となっては事件のすべては尾上セリカによるものなわけだし、だから南沢千里さんのことはどうでもいいのかもしれないですけど、
It bothers me
で
too.
もちょっと気になったもんで。それじゃあ宮代先輩、私たちはここで。先輩
なんだよ和樹、いきなりつねるなんて痛いじゃないか。
That's not very
さ
nice.
っきから話しかけてるのに宮代先輩がぼーっとしてるからですよ。ねえ。うん。
ああ、そっか。
ひょっとして私余計なことをやっちゃいました？
あ、いや、いいんだ。別に大したことじゃない。
そうですか。だったらいいんですけど。
I said goodbye to the two of them and headed back to the apartment. The whole way back, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Nono might be lying to me. Why? For what purposes? The same questions kept spinning about in my mind.
家族の間で隠し事はしないこと、これだけは守ってほしいの。もう家族がバラバラにならないように。
Nono was the one who'd said that. No secrets, no lies. That was the one promise that kept us together. But...
あ、おかえりタクル。
when I got back, Nono was the same as ever.
和樹たちちゃんと帰った？
うん。途中までだったけど。
There was no sign of the awkwardness that had been there when she was talking to Arimuna, but...
あのさ、さっきの話だけど。
さっきのって？
南沢千里の。
ごめん。その話はもうやめてもらえるかな。
どうして？
だって死んでしまった友達のことを思い出すのはとても辛いことだから。ご飯もうすぐできるからテーブルの上片付けてくれる？
わかったよ。
It was obvious that Nono was avoiding talking about Senri Minamisawa. Maybe it didn't matter at this point, but still, something was bothering me like a thorn pricking at my heart. Senri Minamisawa. Maybe I needed to learn more about her. Maybe there's more to Senri Minamisawa that involved in this case. It was one thing to decide to learn more about Senri Minamisawa, but the question was how to go about it. I asked Kunosato and Shinjo, but they didn't have much to tell me. They knew nothing beyond what we'd found in the basement of AH Tokyo General, which meant that I had to ask someone who did know. To be honest, I wasn't happy with the idea, but I didn't have much choice. Oh, Kawahara. If I wanted to talk to him, this was the best place to catch him. Nono would ask questions if I left the house in my school uniform, so I went without it. That meant I stood out like a sore thumb. I recognized some of the students passing by, but they didn't pay any attention to me. They just chatted with their friends as I walked by. I waited for about 30 minutes. Finally, he appeared from the other side of the school gate.
宮代?
Kawahara frowned when he saw me. I knew he didn't like me, but he also felt probably awkward after what had happened yesterday.
ちょっと話があるんだけど、いいですか？
もしかして、俺に宣戦布告でもしに来たか？
え？
なんだ、クルスに手を出すなって言いに来たわけじゃないのか？ それなら少しは見直してやるところだったのにな。
あ、
Really? Kawahara seemed to misunderstand how things stood between me and Nono.
で？
え？
話があるんだろ？だったらさっさと言えよ。
Kawahara didn't even bother to hide his irritation with me. People were staring at us as they walked by.
その、もしよかったら、どこか別の場所で。
Kawahara sighed and started to walk. I followed him. He's so meek when talking to
この辺で
Kawahara.
いいだろ。
He was standing on the side of the road without even a bench. It felt like his way of saying that he didn't want to talk for long.
早く言えよ。言っとくが俺は、お前の顔すら見たくないんだからな。
I could tell from his tone that his hatred towards me was building, but I felt the same way. I just wanted to ask him my questions and get the hell out of here.
その、川原くんは、南沢千里さんと友達だったんですよね。
南沢？お前がなんで急にあんな奴のこと聞きたがるんだよ。
それはちょっと気になることがあって。
別に南沢はクルスと仲が良かっただけで、俺はあいつのことを友達だなんて思ってない。
I could tell that from the way he acted the other wet day.
その南沢さんはどういう人だったんでしょう。
そんなことクルスに聞けばいいだろう。あいつの方がずっと仲が良かったんだから。
クルスはあんまり覚えてないって言ってます。
覚えてない？そんなはずないだろ。俺だって覚えてるんだ。俺なんかよりずっと一緒にいたクルスが覚えてないわけない。
例えば。
Kawahara glared at me, but then he sighed and started to talk.
南沢は初めて会った時から気味の悪いやつだったよ。いつも暗い顔して顔色も悪くて、声も小さくて何言ってんだかわかんねえし、陰気を絵に描いたようなやつで、まんまクルスの引き立て役だよ。そうだな、そういうとこお前にちょっと似てるかもな。
He laughed. He wasn't even trying to hide his disgust with me anymore. But I didn't care.
それで彼女はどういう家とか。
ああ、確か親が怪しげな新興宗教にハマっててさ。
新興宗教？
名前までは忘れちまったけど、それで毎週日曜になるとそこの施設に通ってんだって言ってた。どこっつってたかな。確かでっかい病院の地下とか言ってたな。
AH 東京総合病院。
そこだよ、そこ。なんだ、お前知ってんのか？
いや、そういうわけじゃ。
So, Sen and Minami-sama had been going there after all. But wait, did that place belong to some cult back then?
ああ、そういや。
He must have started to remember as he talked because he was speaking faster and more clearly.
いつも長袖着て隠してたけど、体育の時にチラッと見えたんだよ。そしたら腕に針の跡とかいっぱいあってさ。
Wow.
だんだん学校も休むようになって、今考えるとやばいよな、あれ。そんなだからうちの親なんかにもあいつとは付き合うなって言われてたんだけど、クルスが付き合うもんだから。
Kawahara's tone became sharper and angrier as he remembered the past. As I listened to him, of course, I was remembering the girl named Senu Minami-sama. I was sure her parents had taken her to that research lab. She was undergoing experiments there every week. The goal, of course, was to awaken her gigalomaniac powers. I didn't know if her parents had agreed to the big experiments, but it was easy to imagine that she hadn't wanted to do them herself. My gosh, how long is this game? Sup, Jasmine? According to what I've looked up, it's supposed to maybe take most people about 70 hours. Hello, how are you? So I imagine that once I'm done, like, all the different endings, I'll probably have, like, clocked in close to 80 or 90 hours, because I'll probably take longer to read just because as I'm streaming, I'm reading aloud, and that takes me a lot longer. Sup? Sup, Harrison? How you doing? There was one more thing I could tell from this conversation. That was...
ねえ、そのことをクルスは。
知ってるに決まってるだろ。さっきも言ったように、あいつは俺よりもずっと南沢と親しかったんだ。しょっちゅう悩みを打ち明けられたりしてたみたいだし、あいつの両親のことだって俺なんかよりもずっと知ってるはずだよ。そもそも今の話だってほとんどガキの頃にクルスから聞いた話だしな。
そう。
よーってのはそれだけか。
うん。ありがとう。
なんなんだよ。なんで俺がこんなこと。
Damn, this guy's so, like, sour. I bowed to Kawahara and turned to go.
おい、宮代。
I heard his voice behind me.
クルスに早く学校に来るように伝えろ。それから、もしまたクルスに何かあったりしてみろ。ただじゃ済まさねえからな。
Dun dun dun. Once he was done talking, he walked off. But to be honest, I didn't care. What was important was that...
ごめんなさい。千里とは友達だったけど、あの子の家のこととかあまりよく知らないのよ。だからもういいでしょ。
I have no idea what the game is about, but I've been using your stream to fall asleep. I feel like that's a bad and a good thing. Just woke up, so can't complain. How are you? I agree with Jazzrith. Nice. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not a big morning person, but I'm trying to do these morning streams. So here we are playing this game. It's like getting read a bedtime story. I kind of thought about like doing maybe like a series where I just like read things. I don't know what, but maybe books or something. More like books, but I guess that's what these visual novels kind of fill that role too, where I'm doing a lot of reading. But I've had a lot of people tell me that they like hearing my voice when I read stuff. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to hear like books? I don't know if I would do that on Twitch though, like reading books. Nono was lying to me after all. Nono was hiding something. Something involving Sendai Minamisela, even after she'd promised that she wouldn't keep any secrets, which meant that was a lie too. I had dinner and took a bath. Yuto and Uki had already gone to sleep. Nono had her textbook out on the table. Even when she wasn't going to school, she was still keeping up with her studies. She'd asked her friends about what subjects they were covering and kept up with them at home. As student council president, she was trying to set an example. I'd gotten my Pokecom online, but nothing I was seeing was going into my head. I was trying to figure out how to bring things up with Nono.
もう、なーに？
何が？
さっきから何か言いたそうにしてるでしょ？
どうして？
それくらいわかるわよ。タクルのことだもん。
Was that because we were family? But then, why?
ちょっと外いいか。
I went outside with Nono. Of course, we couldn't go too far with the little ones to think about, so we only took a few steps from the apartment. Wait, the little ones to think about? They're not even that young. The little ones could take care of themselves. Nono followed after me, confused. She looked just a bit nervous, probably because she wasn't sure why I had asked her to come out here with me. I turned around to face Nono.
なーに改まって。もしかして告白でもしてくれるの？
She looks happy about that.
は？何言ってんだよ、いきなり。
I bet you if Miyashiro was to like confess to her, she probably wouldn't hate that.
だってこんな夜にわざわざ外に連れ出すなんてそんな感じじゃない？
And here she is making fun of him. It was true that maybe you could interpret this situation that way. Maybe.
もうわかってる。冗談よ。そんなにうろたえなくてもいいじゃない。まあ、もし冗談じゃなかったとしても、 私としては嬉しいけど。
Oh, the truth comes out.
からかうのはよせよ。
I took a deep breath to help me focus as I got ready to change the subject.
タクル？
The music changes along with the subject change. A look of tension appeared on her face when she saw how I was acting.
あのさ、正直に答えてほしいんだけど。
うん。
お前、僕に隠し事してないか？
In the end, all I could do was ask her straight.
え？
嘘ついてることあるんじゃないのか？
なに急に。どうしていきなりそんなこと言うの？
Nono smiled, but I could tell. She was forcing herself to smile.
言ったよな。家族の間に隠し事はしないって。あの約束破ってないか？ノノ。
Maybe she had her reasons, but even so, I was tired of it all. I was tired of being betrayed. I was tired of having the people I cared about lie to me. There was a moment's silence. It was Nono who broke it.
信じて。
Her voice was so tiny I could barely hear it.
お願い。信じて。
ノノ。
これじゃ答えにならないっていうのは分かってる。でも、今は、お願い。
In the darkness, I couldn't see the look on her face, but her voice was full of sorrow and pain. Unless I trusted Nono, we could never truly be a family. Nono had said she wouldn't hide anything else. She'd said she wouldn't lie anymore. I was tired of being lied to, like when I found out about my parents' death. I bet you were a diamond in the rough in high school, kitten. Probably had braces and glasses and armor flip-flops. I didn't wear flip-flops in school. I thought that was really tacky to wear to school, so I had never ever worn flip-flops to school. Plus, it doesn't really get warm enough to wear flip-flops here during school time, because yeah, there would be no school during summer. I didn't have glasses and I didn't have braces, so I had none of that going on. But I was totally the super quiet loner kid in school. I rarely talked to people. I was well known as the girl who didn't really speak very much. Ultra peep. Oh yeah, totally. Not really. No. I've pretty much been the same, almost the same person since high school. Just super nerdy, super awkward. Super duper awkward. I still am. But yeah. But it's kind of it's kind of different, like when you're streaming, because like I'm not really talking to people. But I'm pretty awkward around people. Yo, Saint, to be honest. Aw, that I'm sweet. Aw, that's really sweet of you to say. You're the sweetheart here. You're the true sweetheart here, honestly. But yeah, no, I didn't have braces. I didn't have glasses or anything like that. I was still pretty nerdy and super loner. I had like one, although oddly enough, I had one friend in high school, and he was like super duper popular. So we were a very odd pair, and he was like my best friend at high school. And people were like confused as to like why we were friends. I didn't ever want to go through what I'd experienced when I found out Sedeka was behind the killings again. So all I could do now was...
わかった。僕はノノを信じ。
相変わらず甘いね、タクは。
Wait. Was that? A bitter voice echoed in the darkness. It was Sedeka. That's Sedeka. The clouds split and the moon shone down to reveal the person in the darkness. Her dye sword shone in the moonlight and a broken smile was plastered on her lips.
おのえ。
A cold chill of terror ran down my spine and I could feel myself start to sweat. I let my guard down. I thought that if I was lucky I might never see her again, and I started to think that maybe I could be that lucky, but never thought she'd just show out of nowhere like this. Or that look on her face.
いい気なものだな、
Whoa.
クルスノノ。セリカ、 何をしに来たの？
それくらいわからないのか。
あなたみたいな人が考えることなんてわかるわけないわ。
あなたみたいな人。まるで自分だけが宮代拓郎を大切にしている。そんな言い方だな。気に入らない。
私はあなたとは違う。タクルのため、タクルが望んでいるから、そんな理由をつけてタクルを悲しませているあなたとは違うのよ。
You're trying to actually care about Takuru. Wait, so like what, she thinks she cares about me too? Even though she's killing people for my sake, I guess? This was a long job for the voice actors. It was. A lot of VNs tend to be. I could almost see the invisible flames building up between them.
まあいい。聞きたいと言うなら教えてやろう。私がここに来たのは、お前からもらったものを返してやるためだ。
Setaka laughed in twisted glee. That wasn't the Setaka I knew. The naive ditzy girl that was always by my side was gone now.
もらったもの？何のことかわからないけれど、その必要はないわ。持って帰ってくれて結構よ。
おお、随分と気前がいいんだな。だが、そういうわけにはいかない。あいにく、やられたことはきちんとやり返す主義でね。
Does something to her?
気をつけろ、ノノ。お前は報復するつもりだ。
報復？そう。つまり、あなたはタクルを取られた復讐に来たってわけね。でも。
Nono pulled her dye sword from the void and readied it in front of Setaka's face. But Setaka didn't move a muscle. She just kept smiling.
血の気の多い女だ。それがお前の本性というわけか。
Sorry, I just plugged in my phone.
いいか。復讐というのは
I always forget
何
to
も
plug it in
力によ
before I
っての
start
み
my
遂
stream.
行されるものじゃない。
どういう意味？
例えば、お前が必死になって隠していること、宮代拓が知ったらどう思うかな。
Yeah, what is this secret that she's trying to hide? What was she trying to hide? Nono was hiding something from me? But she just told me to believe her. Well, yeah, but she didn't even really reveal what her secret was yet.
タクはまだ知らないみたいだから教えてあげなきゃね。
やめて。
ねえ、聞いてタク。その女、クルス・ノノはね。やめて！
Nono's dye sword flashed down at Setaka's head. There was a shower of pale sparks. Oh wow, that face. She's such a yandere, that Setaka. Nono flipped her wrist around and this time the silver light flashed upwards. There was a roar of spiraling wind. Hold on. I gotta turn down the sound for this particular BGM. It's so intense, this BGM. Even I could tell that Nono's stance was all wrong. Setaka was easily deflecting her attacks and grinning all the while.
ねえタク、まだわからない？その女の本当の姿が。
本当の姿？
お願い。
Maybe she's Minami's...
しょうがないわね。
Minami herself?
じゃあ私の口から教えてあげる。クルス・ノノの。いいえ。
Minami Senni? Or Minami Sawa Senni. Maybe that's her.
南沢千里の真実を。
Okay. we're just dragging out the truth. dragging out that truth. Nono was bright and cheerful, and everyone loved and admired her. Senri looked up to her too. Senri, however, was well aware that she was gloomy, that she mumbled, and that no one liked her. That sounds like me, actually. When I was a kid. When Nono first spoke to her, she was more confused than happy. She even wondered if Nono was trying to show off what a good girl she was by hanging out with a failure like her. In fact, that's how everyone had seen it. But as she got to know Nono, Senri stopped doubting. The two of them just seemed to get along somehow. Senri was quiet, and Nono liked to take care of people. The two of them became fast friends. Senri Minamisawa was a dear friend to Nono Kurusu, but for Senri, it wasn't that simple. From her perspective, Nono Kurusu had everything you could ever want. She was jealous. She knew it was wrong to think that way. She knew she should never think that way, but the more she thought about it, the stronger the feeling became. Need nappers. Alright, Jasmith, have a good nap, and thanks so much for that lurk. Hopefully you can be lulled to sleep again through the story. the story that you've been following along, but don't really have any clue, which I figure most people probably don't really have much clue about this game. But I still appreciate people who do drop by and hang out during my selfish desire to play this long-ass game. True facts.
Nono-chanが羨ましい。Nono-chanみたいになれればいいのに。
See, I was like Senri. Like, I was a very quiet person in high school, but I didn't feel jealous of people who were like bright and bubbly. I would look at people who were bright and bubbly and think how tiring that was.
もしもNono-chanのような星の下に生まれていたなら。
Or actually, I would say if I had to compare myself, I would probably say I was a mixture of like being like Senri, like just quiet, and also kind of like Takuru, where he kind of looked down on his classmates for being wrong-siders. Although Takuru seems to want to think he's like a normie as himself, but I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. It's kind of conflicting personality there. No, I did not want to be like a bright and bubbly person. That's just not who I am. That was Senri Minamisawa's wish. And then, 6 years ago, there had been a deafening roar, a violent shaking, and a blinding light. Wait. Nono Kurusu was right in front of Senri. Nono was caught by a collapsing building and on the verge of death. She could barely keep her eyes open. There was nothing Senri could do for her. Oh my god, I knew it! I knew it! Oh no, poor Nono. You seriously have a nurturing, caring, genuine sweetness to you. Aww, hubby and kiddos are lucky. Oh, that's really sweet of you to say so. I'm lucky. I'm honestly lucky to have a hubby and a really happy kiddo that I do have. So I feel lucky that I have them. So. So I think I was on the right track when I said that Nono is actually Senri Minamisawa herself. She took on the identity of Nono. Somehow. Somehow? But why do people think that she's her? She had to have drastically changed her look somehow, or taken over her body? And then her voice faded away, so the real Nono died? Senri would never hear it again. Nono Kurusu would never move again. No. Senri cried. She knelt before Nono and cried and cried. Nono Kurusu was her only friend. She was sad to have lost her. And...
Nono-chan. 私ね。Nono-chan みたいになりたかったの。どうして
死んじゃったの？ねえ、どうして死ねばよかった。
Oh no, Sandy.
私が死ねばよかったんだ。私なんてどうせ生きていたってまた苦しい実験にさらされるだけだもん。生きていても誰も喜んでなんてくれないもん。
Aw. Her parents didn't care about her? Well, I guess they didn't really if they were putting her through experiments. Okay, I'm really curious as to how this pans out. And then there was a light.
なんということでしょう。目の前に魔法の剣が現れたかと思うと、南沢千里の体は不思議な光で包まれたのでした。そして驚いたことに、その姿は彼女にとって憧れの少女クルス・ノノへと変身していたのです。
Ah, so her psychic power that she gained during the earthquake transformed her into Nono, or rather transformed her body into Nono's.
それこそが彼女南沢千里のギガロマニアックスとしての覚醒でした。発光の少女南沢千里は本物のクルス・ノノを南沢千里として葬ることで、
Wow.
醜いアヒルの子から白鳥へと生まれ変わり、輝かしい第二の人生を歩き始めることにしたのでした。
Oh, so she buried the real Nono.
めでたしめでたし。
So there is no body of Senri anymore, or rather, she's really Senri, but her body's been transformed. So does the real Senri exist anymore because of that?
どうだったタク。南沢千里とクルス・ノノ、二人の少女の取り替え早物語は楽しかった？
Changelings. Changelings. A story from medieval Japan. It describes the tale of a young boy and a girl who are raised as the opposite sex and the chaos that ensues. Sometimes it is used as a name for other stories involving characters who switch sex or social positions. Ah. My pulse began to quicken and I started to lose the ability to think clearly. I could feel my soul shifting with my body. The ground under me shook unsteadily. No, it wasn't just the ground, it was my whole world. Everything that made up the person named Takeru Miyashiro began to shake. My head hurt and I couldn't understand what I was hearing. What did I just hear? Was Serega telling me that Nono was Senri Minamisawa? Dun dun dun. So this is why Nono always would say things like, oh, Senri Minamisawa never hated you, etc, etc. I was like, why did you know that though? How would you know that she didn't hate Takeru unless you were herself, or that unless she told you herself? And it's like, why would Nono know anything about the experiments that were going on with Senri? She shouldn't know about this kind of stuff. Yet she kinda knew about it. Nono was a gigglomaniac. I knew that already, but her power was...
違う。ギガロマニアックスとしてのノノの能力は有村と同じはずだ。人が嘘をついているかどうかを見抜ける能力。そうだったよな、ノノ。
So it's interesting because like in the normal common route that you play through, there was one point where Nono said something where she slipped up a little bit and she was like, oh no, Senri Minamisawa doesn't hate you at all. And like I remember she remembers that detail about you in the hospital, and I was like, why would Nono know anything about that unless Senri actually told her about her experiences in the hospital? So that was kind of confusing, but this kind of explains that slip up there that happened there. So it's kind of neat that they kind of purposely kind of weave the story that way, so it kind of hints at certain things about each character in the normal route. But you don't really quite know what's going on with the full story until you do all the other endings.
どうなんだよ、ノノ。
Nono said nothing. She just looked very sad. Setaka's lips curled up into a mocking grin.
もうタクってば本当にバカなんだから、やっぱりタクには私がついてないとダメだよね。
どういうことだよ。
有村ひなえと同じ。人が嘘をついているかどうかを見抜ける。嘘で塗り固めた半生のくせに苦し紛れについた嘘はずさんだな。
嘘なんかじゃない。
私はなんだ、また宮代拓郎に嘘つくつもりか。
違う。私はクルス・ノノよ。
Setaka must have thought Nono's words were the funniest thing in the world because her body was racked with laughter.
呆れた。この後に及んでまだそんな嘘がつけるとは。お前大した玉だよ。
おのえ。
しょうがないから私の口からもう一度はっきり言ってやろう。いいか宮代拓郎、その嘘つき女の能力は複写だよ。
Duplication?
複写。
そう、言うなればコピー。容姿、声色、寸分の違いなく別人になり変わることのできる能力。それがそいつの能力。
Oh, okay, that would make sense. So she's copying Nono's body. In other words.
だからタクが言い含められたのは全くの嘘。タクは騙されてたんだよ。初めて会ったその時からずーっと。
Well, I mean, you've been sort of technically lying to me since we met as well, Setaka, so...
僕は
Nobody is not ever lying to me. Finally, I felt a shock, like being hit with a club, run through my skull. No, I'd been feeling that shock for a while now, but my mind was just so dulled that I couldn't even think.
ちょっとすごいだろ。まさかそこまで嘘ずくめだったなんてさすがに想像すらしてなかっただろ。でもお前もこれで分かっただろう。クルス・ノノ、いや南沢千里という女の醜く悪辣な本性を。
Oh, damn.
南沢千里は親友が死んだことを悲しむどころか、これ幸いとあっけなく切り捨て、南沢千里として慰霊碑の下に葬った。
I don't understand how she could bury her friend bury Nono, the real Nono, and then get away with telling everyone that that was Senri Minamisawa. That doesn't seem very legit. Like, to get her name on the memorial, you would think that you would need some legitimate like evidence that this person died. I don't know. I guess that's why Senri Minamisawa's records in the hospital say that that's why that she's missing, because they never could confirm that her body was actually dead.
そして自らは美しく明るく聡明で誰からも好かれるクルス・ノノとして第二の人生を謳歌していたんだよ。違う。ほんと感心するよ。普通なら罪悪感というものがあるはずだよ。よくそれで毎日ああやって笑っていられたものだな。女って怖い。違う。何が違う？
Setaka's cold voice shot through the night like a bullet. Setaka has some really different voices.
虚栄にまみれた汚らわしいペテン師。それが偽らざるお前の正体なんだよ。
It's
南沢千里。
It's pretty amazing that it's the same voice actress and how she can flip-flop between her cold and cheerful voice. There was a mocking light in her eye as she glared at Nono. Without even thinking about it, I closed my eyes and put my hands to my temples. Black doubts rose up and began to take shape. I'd seen Sunny Minami-sama in my nightmares 1,000 times. I thought she hated me for not being able to help her. I thought she was the one behind the new generation murders. And she was actually Nono?
嘘よ。
おお、さすがだな。まだそんなことが言えるなんて。でも、まあいい。
Sedeka laughed a little and turned around to leave.
殺してやろうかと思ったけど、今日はこのままにしてやろう。なぜって、その方が面白そうだからだよ。せいぜい宮代拓に言い訳なりなんなりするがいい。惨めに、無様に、滑稽に。全てを偽っていた醜い自分を許してと地面に頭をこすりつけて泣いて謝ればいい。もっともそんなことしたところで許してくれるかどうかはわからないがな。
She walked off into the darkness of the night, her laughter echoing down the street. I couldn't follow. I was helplessly caught up in what she said as if I had fallen into a whirlpool.
タクル。
I turned towards the sound of a hoarse voice. Nono was smiling at me weakly.
Nono.
やっぱりあの子どうかしちゃったのよ。あんな見えすいた嘘つくだなんて。
Those crazy kids and their lies.
嘘。
そうよ。あんなの嘘に決まってるでしょ。私たちを疑心暗鬼に陥らせて喧嘩させるためのセリカの見えすいた嘘。
Lies? Who was lying and who was telling the truth?
第一、誰かと入れ替わるなんてそんなことできるわけないじゃない。あんな妄想を信じろだなんてどうかしてるわ。
Was it just a delusion?
タクル。
Her voice was nervous.
タクルは信じてくれるよね。
Nono。
私を信じてくれるよね。
Nono was right. I couldn't completely trust Sedeka right now. There was a good chance she was trying to make us suspicious of each other. But was everything Sedeka said a lie? But
タクル。
there was one thing I could say for sure. That was...
信じていいのか?
Hello, Meepo. How are you? We've learned of a new revelation. I wanted to believe in Nono.
信じていいのか?
She said we were a family. She said we wouldn't have any secrets, and I wanted to believe her. I didn't. I didn't want to go through that anymore. I didn't want to be betrayed by the people I cared about anymore.
わかった。僕はノノを信じたい。
I was probably saying that to myself, not to her. The real Nono Kurusu was probably already dead, and another girl, Sunny Minamizawa, had taken her place. Sadaka's word had come out of nowhere, and I couldn't believe them. And I'd already said that I'd believe Nono when she said she was telling the truth. I wanted to believe, but there's just too many inconsistencies.
おかわりは？
いや、いい。
朝だってあんまり食べてなかったけど、ひょっとして調子悪い？
別に大丈夫だから。
そう。
I said I wanted to believe, but it just wouldn't be that easy for any human being. The more you want to believe, the more you try not to think about something, the more the tiny thorn in your heart digs deeper into you. I knew that was just what Sedeka wanted, but that didn't mean that there was anything I could do about it.
もしかしてタクルさんとノノさん喧嘩してます？
あ、
昨日からなんだかよそよそしい感じがしたので。ノノ姉ちゃんたち喧嘩してるの？
別にそんなことないわよ。ねえタクル。
ああ、喧嘩なんかしてない。
タクル兄ちゃん、早く謝った方がいいよ。
だから喧嘩してないって言ってるだろ。仮にしていたとしても、なんで僕が原因ってことになるん？
だって
Whoops.
のの姉ちゃんが怒ってる時はだいたいそうだもん。
It usually is.
心配しないで言うと、別にタクルが何かしたわけじゃないから。
本当？
ほんと。それよりほら、ちゃんと人参も食べなきゃダメよ。
僕人参嫌い。
Carrots are great.
そんなこと言ってたら強い男の子になれないわよ。
I don't get people who don't like carrots. Nono was bothered by it too, and it showed up in the way she was acting. The doubts within me and Nono's unease had built up to the point where even Yamazoe could sense them. We'd fallen right into Setika's trap. If there was any way to get out of this, it was... It wasn't that I doubted her. I was doing this because I believed her, because I wanted to believe. That's what I told myself over and over again as I went to the meeting spot.
まったく、俺はいつの間にかすっかり便利屋になり下がってしまったようだな。
Shinjo's words were sarcastic when he saw me. But it made sense. I'd been coming to him for everything lately.
本来外部の人間にこんなものを見せるのは感心できるこっちゃないんだがな。
すみません。
まあいいさ。今更だ。それより、こいつが頼まれていた例の物だ。
Shinjo took out a large envelope and put it on the table.
見ていいですか？
そのために持ってきたんだろ？
ありがとうございます。
What will we find out? I could tell my hands were shaking as I reached for the envelope. If I wasn't suspicious, there was nothing to be afraid of. If I believed her, there was no reason to hesitate. But I still wasn't sure whether it was okay for me to look.
どうした？見ないのか？
いえ。
I opened the envelope and took out the documents inside.
そいつが渋谷地震で亡くなったとされる南沢千里の検視資料だ。
Shinjo whispered and looked around him as he spoke.
何せあの時は事態が事態だったからな。南沢千里に限らずいろいろと粉飾されてるデータも多くてな。一応渋谷地震の被害者のうち遺体の損傷が激しく身元がはっきりしないものに関しては残っている組織によって DNA 鑑定が行われた。当然南沢千里のものとされている遺体も火災による損壊が激しく組織の一部が DNA 鑑定に回されている。
Okay, that might explain how Senri was able to disguise the fact that it was actually Nono's body. She probably had to like burn the body and stuff like that.
じゃあ、その遺体は。
That's kind of horrifying.
それなんだがな。見てもらえばわかるが、南沢千里という少女は両親も地震によって命を落としている。そのせいで南沢千里の遺体に関してはその DNA 鑑定の結果を紹介する以前に当時親しかったとある人物の証言によって認定されたって話だ。
A close friend identified it. Okay, this kind of explains how they sort of got around, or how rather she got around the whole them IDing the body properly.
とある人物。
But did they normally would they normally? I guess if they're like short on resources, they're just gonna take a person's word for it if they claim that, oh yeah, this body is someone I know.
クルス・ノノだ。
In other words, Nono had said that it was Sandy Minamisawa's body. That was the only reason she was believed to have died. So she was the only person to have confirmed that this was Sandy's body.
クルス・ノノの証言のみにより、その遺体は南沢千里と認定され、遺族に引き渡されて葬られた。
When it was in
ここまではいいな。
actuality Nono's body. So she had to have probably like burned the body too, so it didn't really look a lot like Nono's body.
はい。
よし。で、その下の封筒だが。
And it's interesting that wait, so if the body was damaged enough that they couldn't really ID it properly, then how can you expect like a kid to come up and say, "Oh yeah, this person is Nono"? Like I don't know, like sounds fishy to me. Sounds really fishy to me.
そいつが当時の DNA の鑑定記録だ。鑑識課の知り合いに頭を下げてちょこっとその記録をつついてみた。おかげでラーメン一杯分だ。
I want a bowl of ramen.
あ、それ。
おいおい、言ってみただけだ。子供に出させるほど俺も落ちぶれちゃいないよ。
Shinji was laughing, but his salary probably wasn't that high. With payday coming up, it was probably a pretty big blow to him.
で、だ。俺の方で鑑定結果を照合してみたんだがな。結論を言えば、遺体の DNA は南沢千里の両親、父親、母親のどちらとも DNA 型が一致しなかった。
Oh my goodness, so everything that Seneca actually said is probably true. That day, Nono probably died. The real Nono. Anyways, I will be right back. I'm gonna take a quick break, so I'll be back in like 3-4 minutes. You guys can enjoy this commercial break. this whole time? If sending Minami-sama was assuming Nono's identity this whole time? I didn't even recognize my face as I spoke.
それは間違いないことなんですか?
What a shocking revelation.
データは寡黙に、だが雄弁に物語っている。
See, this ability is way cooler than saying like, oh yeah, my ability is also the same as Hinae's ability to tell the truth or to figure out what the truth is. It seemed too easy.
南沢千里は親友が死んだことを悲しむどころか、これ幸いとあっけなく切り捨て、南沢千里として慰霊碑の下に葬った。そして自らは美しく明るく
So Setaka was telling the light telling a truth about the whole thing. Setaka's voice echoed in my head. Then that was
私を信じてくれるよね。
What? What the hell? She told me to believe her. Why did she tell me to believe her?
おい、宮代君。ひどく顔色が悪いが、大丈夫か？
はい。
とりあえず、この結果についてだが。
それなんですが、どうするかは少しの間、僕に預けてくれませんか？
そう言うだろうと思ったよ。
Wait.
すみません。
Sorry, I missed that one sentence. Can you let me handle this for a while? Okay.
まあいいさ。だが、そのままにしておくわけにもいかない。いずれ時が来たら、きちんと処置は取らせてもらうからな。
はい。
やれやれ。俺もとんだお人よしだな。
Shinjo kept talking after that, but I couldn't hear a single word he said. All I could sense was some dark thing sinking into my stomach. I staggered back home like a zombie into the graveyard. The lead weight in my stomach got heavier. There was a feeling inside me that I didn't recognize at all.
あ、おかえり、タクル。どこへ行ってたの?
Nono was smiling at me like always, but I could tell that she was trying to judge my mood. That only upset me more. It was obvious now that what she was afraid of.
タクル?
Nono Kurusu. The person I'd always thought was Nono Kurusu. The girl I'd always thought of as my stepsister, but... she was really...
ねえ、タクル。どうかした?もしかして気分でも悪いの?
My ears started to ring as she spoke. Lumps of emotion collided and fought within me.
どうしたの?タクル兄ちゃん、お布団敷きましょうか?
いや、それより、二人はちょっと外で遊んできてくれないか？
え?外いいの?
ちょっとタクル、何言ってるの?この前セリカが来たばっかりじゃない。二人だけで行動させるなんて危険よ。
アパートの近くなら大丈夫だろう。その代わり何かあったら大声出すんだ。いいな。
うん、わかったよ。ウキ姉ちゃん、行こう。
あ、ちょっと。
We'd been so insistent that they stay inside that they probably were eager for any chance to get out. They were gone before Nono could even finish her sentence.
ちょっとタクル、どういう。
お前に話があるんだよ、クリス。
Krista's expression tensed when she heard what I'd called her. I had to say it. I had to ask. I had to know. If we were going to stay like this, if Kurusu was going to stay Kurusu, we were going to be a family. It was best that I didn't ask, but...
ついさっき、新庄さんに会ってきた。
新庄さんに?どうして?
調べてもらったんだよ。南沢千里の死について。
I thought she'd get angry or be surprised, but she listened to my words without changing expression at all.
ここに DNA 鑑定の結果がある。南沢千里だと思われていた遺体の。
I tossed the brown envelope on the table, but Kurusu didn't move to pick it up. She just said 2 words.
そう。
That was all. Why did you do that? Why did you do that when you told me you believed me? I was expecting her to say that. But she didn't. Instead, I was the one who spoke.
どうして言い訳しないんだよ。どうして否定しないんだよ。
だってタクルの中でもう結論は出てるんでしょ。
だけど否定してくれよ。違うって言ってくれよ。それじゃ認めたみたいじゃないか。
Even if she denied it, that wouldn't change a thing. I'd probably get mad that she was still lying, but even if I knew it didn't make sense, I still wanted her to say I was wrong. I wanted her to deny it. I still held onto a sliver of hope. I wanted to cling to the slightest chance that she had something that would make me think the DNA test was wrong. But instead, all she said was,
ごめん。
In other words, she admitted it. She admitted she really wasn't Nono Kurusu. Wait, okay, hold on. But why does this make any difference? He never knew the real Nono at that point. By that point, Sandy had already taken over Nono's identity, so the only Nono he ever knew was the one that Sandy Minamisawa actually portrayed for him. So really, all this time he's only really known Sandy.
なんだよ。
I took. Oh, I forgot to read that. I took my anger out on the table in front of me.
なんなんだよそれ。どういうことなんだよ。
So I don't really understand why he's like super mad about it. I mean, yeah, she lied about her identity,
お願い、話を聞いて。
but she's the same person that he's only ever known.
最初から全部嘘だったんだ。家族だって言ったのも、大切だって言ったのも。
タクル。
家族の間で隠し事はなし。よく言えたもんだな。自分は正体まで隠しておいて、よくそんなこと言えたもんだよ。
違うのタクル。
違う？何が違うんだよ。何が違うって言うんだよ。
私だって騙すつもりはなかったのよ。嘘をつくつもりなんてなかった。でもあなたと出会った時には私はもうクルス・ノノだったから、もう二度と南沢千里には戻りたくなかった。あなたたちに嫌われたくなかったから。だから。
Kurusu was forcing the words out.
でも騙そうとしたんじゃない。本当はずっと苦しかった。私は本当はクルス・ノノじゃない。そう言いたかった。でもそれが分かったら今の生活が失われるって。明るくて誰からも好かれるクルス・ノノじゃなく、陰気で気味の悪い南沢千里だって分かったら、タクルに嫌われるって。そう思うと怖くて本当のこと言えなかった。騙そうだなんてそんなこと、それだけは信じてほしい。
信じてほしい。
Those words shook me even more.
信じてほしいだって。
I'd lost the ability to control myself. I'd lost the ability to control what I was saying.
裏切ったのはそっちじゃないか。父さんや母さんの時だってそうだ。ずっと僕を騙して。もうあんなことは二度とない。そう言ったよな。それも嘘だったってことじゃないか。
それは。
家族の間で隠し事はしない。そう言って自分は一番大事なことを隠して、それで信じろだって。信じられるわけないだろ。お前のことなんて今さら何も信じられるわけない。
タクル。
Kurusu's eyes were overflowing with tears, but I couldn't stop myself from speaking.
なんだよ。信じ合うのが家族とでも言いたいのか。 だったら僕たちはもう家族じゃない。二度と家族面しないでくれ。
Oh, so angry. I let it all out. When I was done, there was nothing left but emptiness. But even after that, I still couldn't forgive her. Her tears, her words, they all seemed like lies. So...
ごめんなさい。
I watched as Kurusu turned and ran out of the room, but I didn't try and stop her. What does Kunosato think of all this next door? But I slammed my fist into it over and over again anyway. Oh man, what happened? We just found out that Nono, all this time, was in fact actually Senri Minamisawa. So the real Nono actually died during the earthquake. And Senri Minamisawa had a very strong wish to be Nono. And what happened was during the earthquake and the light, which caused a lot of people to gain psychic powers, she gained the ability to duplicate people. So she could actually copy the way someone looked and also the way they sounded. So she basically took on Nono's identity at the time. And well, Nono was dying. The real Nono was dying during the earthquake. She was crushed under some rubble, and then at that moment she turned to Nono. So she just decided to take Nono's identity at that point. So all this time, the Nono that Takuru has known all his life has actually been Senri Minamisawa. And he found like irrefutable proof and evidence that points to the fact that she is in fact actually Senri Minamisawa, and Nono is dead. Oh man, what the fuck? But yeah, she basically disguised the fact that the real Nono was dead by claiming that was Senri Minamisawa. So she stepped forward and she ID'd the body for the police, saying that, oh yeah, that's my friend. And so that's why Senri was noted down as dead and had her name under the memorial, but in fact that was actually Nono's body. Zeraka had betrayed me. Kurusu had lied to me. So that's why like Takuru is like super like emo about the fact that she's lied almost in his entire life about her whole existence. Everything I thought I had was turning against me. It was laughing at me as it fled away. I didn't know what to believe in anymore. I didn't have anything left to believe in. Sadaka said she committed all those murders for me. Kurusu had said she didn't want me to find out about her secret. So when we found out about, initially when we were starting her route, Nono's route, when she said that her power was kind of like Hinai's power where she could sense the truth or tell between a truth and a lie, she was lying about that to cover for the fact that her real ability is that she can copy people and take on their bodies and the way they sound and look, I guess. Although I guess this whole time she's just been parading around as Nono. I don't know if she's ever changed her identity from there. I'd wanted a case that would shake the whole world. I'd wanted a family. That's why all this had happened, right?
Nanda. Sokka. Warui no wa boku da.
Is he going crazy? It was my fault for being here. It was me that was making everyone miserable. The victims of the return of the new generation madness. Yui, Dad, Ito, Serika, Kurusu. It was all my fault. Maybe I should just go away. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Maybe I should just go disappear. Can't even be bothered to finish the job himself.
聞いてるんだろ、尾上。それが僕の願いだ。だから。
I could hear someone open the door and run into the room. Was Asetica here to grant my wish?
タクル兄ちゃん、今、ノノさんが。ノノ姉ちゃんと何かあったの？タクルさん？
The two of them were looking at me concerned, but I didn't have the energy to answer them. Poor kids, they're all like caught up in this. Kurusu didn't come back to the apartment tonight, or that night. November 22nd, 2015, Sunday. Wait, how was she here? What was I doing? The rain had started to fall, and the next thing I knew, I'd come here. I changed out of my wet clothes and into the old uniform I kept in the back of the dresser, and I looked around the room once more. They'd closed the place down, but they hadn't changed the locks or put a chain on the door. The spare key was in its usual place. They should have just let us stay here for a while more then. If they had, maybe this wouldn't have happened. That's true. It's like, why didn't they let them stay? I desperately tried to drive the thoughts from my mind once more. Anyway, thanks to the key, I'd made it inside easily. I knew it was wrong, but I'd come here anyway. I had too many memories here. I needed to come here to say goodbye to my past. All the furniture was still here too. It was much the same as when we'd lived here. But since there was no one to clean it, the dust that had built up on the shelves, tables, and floors. I softly ran my hand along the desk, and a streak of brown appeared under a thin layer of white. Who would have thought it would get so dusty if no one was here for such a short time? The day we left, it had felt we were never coming back, and I'd been terribly sad.
Tadaima.
I whispered softly. Of course, no one answered. The place was empty. But still, this was where everything I had was kept. Everything I had is Nono Kurusu. I hated myself, the person named Senri Minamizawa. I'd always been alone ever since I was a kid. At recess time and daycare, everyone would go out to the playground and play on the swings and slide. But I liked to stay indoors and read books. No, I don't think I actually liked it. I just pretended I did, so I wouldn't have to interact with other people. Even at a young age, I already thought that any interactions with others meant pain and sorrow. That didn't change in elementary school. Instead of changing, my introverted personality got worse. Now, after having lived as Nono Kurusu for years, I knew. If you try to stay in your shell, everyone will ignore you. But you don't have to do that. There's so many fun things around you. There's so many friends you can enjoy them with. I was always alone. That didn't mean I was bullied. For as long as I can remember, I'd always been worried about what other people thought of me. I was good at avoiding becoming a target. I tried my best not to stand out. I tried my best not to make anyone mad. That was my life. But I still hated myself. I hated the girl named Senri Minamizawa. One day I talked to my mom about it.
お母さん、私、もっとみんなと仲良くなれるようになりたい。友達がたくさんできる。そんな性格になりたい。
Thinking back, that was my first mistake. That was when my own personal... Whoops. That went by really fast. Own personal hell began. Mom took me to a lab. She told me if I went there, they'd fix my shy personality. It was a lab that was related somehow to the pharmaceutical company where my dad worked, and deeply related to that weird cult my mom believed in. At first, it was just simple psychological tests. All the doctors there were nice. When the tests finished, they gave me candy. I started to look forward to going there. I was a child. I was a fool. At first, Dad was opposed to me going there, but after a while, he almost never came home anymore. Mom said he was busy with work. And then, the experiments began to get more serious. They would force my eyes to stay open as they showed me all kinds of weird images. They made me listen to this weird, creepy static for hours. Hot things, cold things, sour things, spicy things, nasty things, nasty things, nasty things, painful things, painful things, painful things, painful things, painful things, painful things. It's all painful. It's very painful. Again and again and again. They put weird machines on my head. She had blood type. Oh, they gave me drugs. They gave me dozens of shots in my arms. When my left arm turned purple, they'd use the right. When the right arm turned purple, they'd use the left again. No matter how much I cried or screamed, no matter how much I said I didn't want to go, Mom told me it was my task in life to go there and to be experimented on. What they were doing there was special. I was chosen, so I couldn't tell anyone else. That's what she said. Mom wouldn't listen no matter what I said. But Dad? Maybe Dad would. I longed to meet my father. And then, one day, I saw him in the middle of an experiment. When I finally saw my father again, he was like a different person. Not the way he looked, the way he felt. Before, he'd been so opposed to me going to that facility, but now he said the experiments were for my own good. I was a small child with nothing left to believe in. I guess our parents were maybe brainwashed. The drugs ruined my skin. My hair would fall out sometimes too. I lost a few friends I'd had. Then one day, the scientists were all very happy with the results of the experiment. Dad was happy too. I didn't care. I just wanted to get away. Then, the experiments got even worse. They gave me shots. My whole body hurt. I thought I might die. I fought back. They tied me to a chair. They put a weird device in my mouth. I couldn't even say it hurt anymore. And then, I thought I saw someone looking at me from the door. But there was no one to hear my voice. No one came to save me. I fell into despair. Despair at the past, despair at the present, despair at the future. There was no hope there, only pain and suffering. That would be a pretty miserable existence. I longed for death. And then, it happened. She spoke to me for the first time.
大丈夫？え？顔色悪いよ。保健室行く？どうしたの？あ、うん。大丈夫。本当？うん。あ、私、クルス・ノノ。あなたは？南沢千里。千里だね。よろしく。よろしく、クルスさん。ノノでいいよ。みんなそう呼んでるし。ノノ？
She was a single ray of light in my dark life. Nono was always cheerful and smiling. She was nice to everyone. There was always a circle of people around her. I couldn't bring myself to try and join that circle. I just had to sit there and watch. But whenever I did, she would shout to me. I could see the people around her frown. Nono must have known too. Some of them would just walk away when I went to join the group. That's not nice.
いいよ、そういう人は放っておけば。だって私たちお友達でしょ？友達？私とノノちゃんが？え？千里ちゃんはそう思ってくれないの？うん、そうじゃないけど。私でいいの？何言ってるの？当たり前じゃない。
Of course I could. Those words made me so happy. They kept me going. They saved me. Nono was cute and popular with the boys. Kawahara and the other boys would gather around her. They were all after Nono. I knew they didn't like me. Sometimes they'd say that the only reason I existed was to make her look better. But I didn't care. I knew Nono didn't think that way. One day, Nono asked me a question. 千里ちゃんはいつも早く帰って何してるの? I had no idea what to say. By that time, they were doing the experiments on weekdays too. I was going to a weird place where they did creepy experiments. Mom had told me not to tell anyone, but if I told her, she might think I was weird, but maybe I could tell her.
うちってね、お母さんしかいないの。だから休みの日はいつもお手伝いばっかりなんだ。え？
I was surprised. Nono had always seemed so happy. I didn't know she had any problems at all.
もしかして千里ちゃんも同じ？
Kind of. Maybe Nono felt sympathetic to me. When I thought about that, I couldn't tell her the truth, and it made me feel a little better to think that I wasn't the only one suffering. And then I started to hate myself. Nono was honestly worried about me, so how could I feel that way? But still, I was jealous of Nono. She was cheerful and pretty and smart, and everyone liked her. I looked up to her more with each passing day. I started to think that I wanted to be Nono, but that was never going to happen. And the more I started to feel that way, the worse the experiments got. I never told anyone. The word started to get around that I was going to some weird lab. My skin dried and cracked, my hair fell out. Eventually I stopped being able to move my legs like I wanted to. And then came the day of November 6, 2009. I was undergoing another painful experiment that day. On the way back, I became very dizzy and collapsed. I thought it was a side effect of the drugs they'd just given me, but it wasn't. Everyone in the streets of Shibuya had fallen over and was crawling on the ground like me. The buildings collapsed, the trees on the side of the road fell over, cars and trucks lost control and collided. The whole city turned to hell in an instant. I didn't know what had happened. The experiments had caused my legs to shrivel up and I couldn't walk right. Someone in the fleeing crowd pushed me over and I had to drag my wounded body home. Mom was dead. It had happened so fast. She had that same self-satisfied smile on her face that she always had. "This is for your sake. This is a sign of your faith." Those were the words she'd always said when she'd made me suffer. And now she was gone from the world, without suffering at all. I felt a free feeling that I'd never felt before. It wasn't sorrow or loss. A while later, someone came from the facility to tell me that Dad had died as well. He'd been unlucky enough to be in Shibuya for a meeting during the earthquake. I still didn't feel sad. At the same time, the people from the facility told me to evacuate to the hospital. They'd been showing me these strange pictures and seen some kind of symptoms develop, they'd said. They didn't want to lose a valuable guinea pig. Even with all that going on, I could tell what they were thinking. Mom was dead. Dad was dead. Did I still have to undergo more experiments? Did I still have to suffer? There was nothing left to tie me down anymore. I smacked away the big hand that stretched out for me and ran. I kept running, not even knowing where I was going. I still don't know how I ran on those legs, but somehow I found the strength. I didn't want to go back to that lab. Ever. That was enough to keep me going. And after I turned down many corners and scrambled over a bunch of rubble, I found her. Holy Dragon Balls, you're on early. I've been doing morning streams for a while now, Vegeta. But good morning. Good morning. Or actually, it's afternoon now. Good afternoon. I've been up since 7:30. I'm usually up at 7:30s on weekdays, which is why I try to do morning streams. Even buried in the rubble, she was beautiful. 11:11 for me, so still morning. Oh, that's right. This is right. So good morning to you then, man. But yeah, on Mondays to Thursdays, I'm supposed to be streaming like in the morning / afternoon, early afternoons, because that's when my kid is in school. So I decided that I would try and do morning streams. I just need coffee. I haven't even had coffee. I've had some green tea so far. I couldn't just let her die. Nono was my best friend, and more than anything, she was the person I wanted to be. If she died here, I'd have nothing left to live for. I desperately tried to remove the rubble off of her and save her. But I was too weak. That's right, there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to abandon her. There was nothing I could do. As more time passed, blood started to trickle out through the rubble, and the voice began to get smaller. Ooh, that must be like the worst way to go.
お母さんは
She's like getting crushed slowly. I looked around and saw a grown-up's feet poking out from under the rubble behind her. Aww. They seemed like a woman's feet.
お母さんなら無事よ。
Oh no, don't lie to her.
よかった。
Well, I guess easing pain a
の
bit.
のちゃんも千里ちゃん。
Nono grabbed my arm. Her hand was surprisingly cold.
いやだよ。私死にたくない。死にたくないよ。ののちゃんごめんね。お母さん私もう
Tears poured down her face as she slowly closed her eyes.
ののちゃん
Oh no. The strength left her hand.
ののちゃんののちゃんののちゃん
No matter how much I cried, no matter how hard I hit her cheek, she wouldn't move. I cried. Nono's death meant the death of the person I looked up to. It meant the death of my hope. It may as well have meant my own death.
ののちゃん私ののちゃんになりたかった。
What a sad story, guys. Even in death, she was pretty. But what about me? My hair was a mess, my face was covered with soot. I must have cut my face with something too.
私が死ねばよかったんだ。ののちゃんの代わりに私が死んでしまえばよかったんだ。
And then, I saw something strange. It was like the wings of a huge bird soaring through the skies, or the hands of a holy mother I coupled in prayer, organic yet inorganic. I was so entranced by it that I didn't even realize that somebody had come up to me. Hello, Izzy again. Did you see a little girl around here? She was about your age, looks kinda gloomy. It was one of the men who'd come to take me to the lab. When I didn't say anything, he sighed and walked off. It didn't make sense. Weren't they looking for me? I gasped in surprise at something I saw in the corner of my eye. It was a piece of glass embedded in the wall of the collapsed building. I could see Nono reflected in the pieces. But Nono was right at my feet. The Nono in the glass was looking at me in surprise. I took a step closer, and so did the girl in the glass. I tilted my head, and so did Nono. I turned into Nono. I looked around for something else that would show my reflection. I picked Nono's phone off the ground and used it to take a picture of myself. I was Nono. I couldn't believe it, but it was real. What had happened? Did it have something to do with that headache? Or that weird sword I'd seen? Maybe it was because of those awful experiments. But it didn't matter. Oh, no more evil experiments if I stay Nono. If I could become Nono, I wouldn't have to do any more experiments. I'd be free of the chains of pain, sorrow, and loneliness that bound Sunny Minamizawa. I could spread my wings as a Nono Kurusu and fly off into a beautiful blue sky. Flames were already spreading from the collapsed building. I wonder what Nono would have thought of this, like the real Nono. I apologized again and again as I dragged Nono's body out of the rubble. Wait, and into the fire? And put it in the fire. Oh my god, she had enough sense as a kid to realize that she needed to burn the real Nono to disguise the fact that it was really Nono. The smell of burning hair and flesh stung my nostrils, and it was only then I realized what I was doing. I quickly tried to grab her body and pull her out, but it was too late. Soon, her body had turned to black ash, and I passed out. Damn, this makes me sad as fuck. I really wish she lived. Well, okay, this is how I interpret it. The Nono that Takuru has known all his life, because remember this, Takuru never knew the Nono from before the earthquake. He only met her after they ended up at the orphanage and he woke up out of his coma a year later. So, and the Nono that he met was actually Senri Minamisawa from the very beginning. She had already assumed Nono's identity, so it was really Senri Minamisawa that he has known this entire time. He never ever got to know the real Nono from before the earthquake. So, like, if we think about that, he's only ever known just the other girl. When I woke up at the hospital, a new life as Nono awaited me. All my classmates, including Kawahara, came to visit me. They were nicer to me than they'd ever been to Senri Minamisawa. Fortunately, nobody questioned if I was really Nono Kurusu. Nono had been buried as Senri Minamisawa, based on what I'd told the police. Even in that unprecedented disaster, I still thought that they might get more suspicious. I was astonished at how easy it was. For a while afterward, I felt guilty at how worried everyone was about me. I was terrified they'd find out. My personality in particular wasn't something I could quickly change. I'm sure a lot of things I said struck people as wrong. Well, you could always blame it on the earthquake, but time was on my side. Everyone simply decided that I was traumatized at the loss of my mother and my friend, and was actually even nicer to me. And at some point, I got used to pretending to be Nono Kurusu. I mastered the role and stopped feeling guilty. Soon, I really was Nono Kurusu. That was about the first time I saw the boy in the coma named Takuru Miyashiro. After that, I was taken in by Aoba Dorm, and then Yui and Yuto came. Takuru came, still in his coma. I took care of him every day. I nursed him. We fought. Soon we opened up to each other. And we became a family. Takuru left the dorm. We became a family again. We stopped being a family, and in the end, I stopped being Nono Kurusu. I was back to being Senri Minamisawa, the girl who lied to her family for years. But...
じゃあ、私はどうすればよかったの?
Yeah, really, what was she supposed to do? Was I supposed to go back to that lab as Senri Minamisawa? Be experimented on as a gigalomaniac? Spend my days suffering in that damp building, without anyone ever loving me? And die as a guinea pig with no happy memories, no warmth at all? Was that what I was supposed to do?
だったら私は何のために生まれてきたの?
Wait, so like, did she disguise Nono as herself, or did they just awkwardly look the same when she was talking to the police? Okay, so what happened, from what we've found out so far? Because I had the same question too. I was like, how did they get away with, like, her burying the body and passing off as if Senri was the one that died in her place? So what happened was, as you saw, she dragged her body into the fire, or dragged Nono's body into the fire. So then Nono's body was burnt to a point where she wasn't easily identifiable. So the police were trying to do... So the police initially were trying to like do like DNA to like match her up, and you know, find out what her identity was. But before the police could actually use the ID, or sorry, the DNA testing to actually identify her, what's her name? Senri stepped up and claimed that that body was her friend Nono, or sorry, claimed that that body was Senri Minamisawa. So then I guess the police just took her word for it and was like, oh, okay, if you are, you know, IDing the body, giving a positive ID that this is this person, then I guess they just closed the case and just dismissed the DNA evidence. Even though the detective Shinjo, he went back and looked at the DNA evidence, I guess they still had it, and he had his friend like actually examine it, and his friend was like, yeah, this DNA doesn't actually belong to the person that they say that they claim that it is. So I don't know, like I don't think that the police would do that. I don't know, maybe at the time, like the earth, when like everything had like the earthquake had caused so much like chaos, the police were willing to just like let it go. They weren't going to argue about something small like someone IDing a body. I don't know. But it's like they already went through the trouble of actually doing the DNA tests on it. So yeah, that's why I was questioning it too. I was like, yeah, it seems a little hokey, but I guess they tried to write that into the story, saying like what was she saying? She was saying like how easy it was. She was surprised at how easy it was to say that that body was not that body was Senni Minamisawa's and not Nono's. But I guess the police didn't know who it was at all, so they just took her word for it. I wanted to live. I wanted to be happy. So, and also, so the reason that Senni Minami-sama took over the identity of Nono was, I guess, it looked convenient. She's always wanted to be Nono. So that was one thing going on for her. And she just didn't want to go back to being Senni Minami-sawa, because all that awaited her was just more torture with the experiments. Even though her mother and father were dead, and those are the two, you know, people that were keeping her doing those experiments. Her mom was part of a cult, so her mom just kept taking her back to do those experiments and told her that that was what she was supposed to do to keep up the faith. So basically her mom was kind of crazy. Her dad, I think, got brainwashed at some point, because later on he said, oh yeah, you should be doing these experiments. So yeah, it's like I can sort of see why she would do something like that, like go on, take her dead friend's identity when she saw the opportunity to do it. Because there just wasn't much of a life left for her if she were to go back to being herself. I just wanted to be happy, that was all. Even if it was a lie, she was willing to take that chance. I knew that it was all a lie. All the smiles, all the kindness, all the friendship, it was all for Nono. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for Senni Minami-sawa. It really is a very sad story though. It's like, she just wanted a little piece of happiness that she couldn't even find in her own life. Takeru's voice echoed in my mind.
嘘だったんだな。最初から全部嘘だったんだ。家族だって言ったのも。信じられるわけないだろ。今さら何も信じられるわけない。
It's like, how do you even break this kind of news to people? How do you even tell people like what happened to you? If he knew the real me, if he knew Senni Minami-sawa, would he accept me?
ねえ、タクル。私はどうすればいいの？これからどうすればいいのかな？
What could I do now? What was important to me?
私は。
I took a bite out of a simple meal of margarine and toast. There was nothing else. There wasn't the usual meal of crisp lettuce or juicy tomatoes or tasty hot dogs or eggs cooked just the way we like them. Just plain toast and milk. Nothing wrong with that. Yuto was ignoring the toast and watching me carefully. He timidly opened his mouth.
ねえ、タクル兄ちゃん。
Well, I also want to turn up the BGM. I turned it down at one point when a more active BGM popped on. I knew exactly what he was going to say before he said it.
のの姉ちゃん、どこ行っちゃったの？
He'd asked me that many times over the last day.
友達のところに泊まりに行ったって。
Wow, he's actually still covering for her?
嘘だよ。
Yuto cut me off before I could finish.
そんなの嘘だよ。のの姉ちゃんが僕たちに何も言わずに友達のところに泊まりに行くなんて。ゆうとくん。
I didn't expect them to believe it either, but I wasn't sure if I could tell them the truth. Even if I did, they wouldn't believe it. How could I expect them to believe that she was actually a girl named Sunny Minamisela, who had taken Nono Kurusu's place using something called Gigolomaniac powers? It was much better not to tell them the truth. Yeah, that story is pretty out there. That's right. There was nothing I could do. If the truth wasn't going to make anyone happy, it was better not to tell them. See, this is probably what Nono was thinking in her head too. It's like, well, it's not going to probably make anybody happy if the truth came out, so I'm just gonna keep lying about my identity. No secrets. That was just a means to an end. I'd known that, but I still couldn't accept it. As a family, we had nothing strong to bind us together. We were just a group of people living under the same roof. That promise had been a symbol of what bound us as a family. That was all. That's why I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept that she'd lied to me.
ねえ、タクル兄ちゃん。どうして嘘つくの?
That's right. I was lying to Yuto Yamazoe. Did I have the right to criticize Nono? To criticize Sunny Minamisawa? Did I have the right to live as a family?
タクル兄ちゃんってば。
うるさいな。
Oh, that was rude.
クルスは友達のところに泊まりに行ったって言ってるだろ。
I stood up and headed for the door.
タクルさん、どこへ? タクル兄ちゃん。
He's not really good with kids, isn't he? I shut the front door as if to block off his cries. Outside, it looked like as if it was about to rain. Of course, I hadn't brought an umbrella, and even if I did, I wouldn't feel like using it. What was Kurusu doing? Was she keeping out of the rain? I laughed a little. She was always the one who told me to take an umbrella when I went out. I don't think I went there because I thought Kurusu was there, but maybe, just maybe, a part of me did. I was the one who told her that we weren't family, but maybe I'd come here anyway, because I was seeking some small piece of what we had before. Kurusu wasn't here, but there were still signs of her warmth. Her room hadn't changed a bit since the first time I'd come to the dorm. There were just a few more things in it. Kurusu never spent any money on herself. Of course, part of the reason was that we didn't have any money, but even when we did, she would use it on me, Yui, Yuto, or Dad. Lately, I told her not to get herself some... Or I told her to get herself some nice jewelry or something, and she said she didn't need it.
私はクルスノノ。ノノって呼んで。よろしく、タクル。なに、どうしたの？返事は？
慣れ慣れしくしないでくれよ。
え？
僕たちは会ったばかりだろ。会ったばかりの相手を呼び捨てに、それも名前で呼び捨てにするなんて。
Such bakaris.
それじゃまるでドキュンみたいじゃないか。は
あ、まったく。あなた、友達いないでしょ。そういう考え方してたら友達なんてできないわよ。
大きなお世話だ。僕は別に友達なんて。
それから慣れ慣れしいじゃなくて親しくよ。私たちは今日から家族なの。だから親しくして当然でしょ。タクル？
なんでさっきからずっと見てるんだよ。そこで黙って見てるくらいなら手伝ってくれてもいいだろ。それとも楽しいのか。着替えすら一人でできないのを見てて笑ってるんだろ。落とした服も拾えなくておかしいんだろ。くそ、僕だってあんなことが起きる前にはこれくらい普通にできたんだよ。それなのになんで なんでできないんだよ。
気は済んだ。私だって手伝ってあげたい。だけど父さんも言ってたでしょ、日常のことから少しずつできるようにならなきゃって。今は辛いだろうけど、今頑張ることがきっと未来のあなたにつながるわ。だからね、もう一回やろう。
でも
大丈夫、私がずっとついててあげるから。あ、やったじゃないタクル、ちゃんとお箸使えるようになったじゃない。
分かった分かったから話せって。喉に詰まっちゃうだろ。
ああ、ごめん。でも嬉しくて。
たかが自力でご飯食べたくらいで大げさなんだよ、ノノは。
大げさなんかじゃない。だって私知ってるもの。あなたがこれまでどれだけリハビリ頑張ってきたか。おめでとうタクル、よく頑張ったわね。
ほら、お前らちゃんと並べ。
この辺りで大丈夫かな。
おう、ユウトはもうちょっと内側に入れ。
お父さんはこの空いてるスペースに入ってね。
よし、それじゃあ行くぞ。
あ、ちょっと待って。
どうしたタクル。
僕のスマホでもいいかな、1枚。
ああ、早くしろ。
ここを押せばタイマーが作動するから。
どこだ。
ねえ、まだ取らないの？友達との約束に遅れちゃうよ。
ああ、いいよ、僕がやるから。
おう。
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
取られちゃったね。
タグ、ああいう新しい機械はどうもな。
それじゃあ行くぞ。
あ、赤いの点滅し始めたよ。タクル、早く早く。
分かってるって。
ほら、みんな割れ。
チーズ。
He made it. Such a sad picture. We really were a family. We may not have been related by blood, but as long as we were here, no matter what anyone said, we were a family.
いい？私たちの間では隠し事はしないこと。血はつながっていないけど、私たちは本当の家族以上に家族なんだから。
She used to say that all the time. What had she been thinking when she said those words? Then, I saw what looked like a tiny piece of paper under the bed. I reached my hand under and picked it out. It was a picture. There were 2 girls and a boy. The boy was Kawahara. Nono Kurusu was in the middle, smiling. And off to the side was another girl. Her face was scribbled out. It was the girl we'd seen in the lab. It was the girl who'd begged us for help. If every day was like that for her. I couldn't bear to stay in Kurusu's room anymore, so I left.
Huh?
I went outside, but stopped when I heard someone below the stairs. I thought it might be Kurusu, but it wasn't.
Miyashiro!
Kawahara saw me. His face tensed up as he approached.
Kawahara-kun. どうしてここ。
He suddenly grabbed me by the collar and slammed me into the wall.
いきなり。
どういうことだ。
どういう。
とぼけるな。クルスがいなくなったってのはどういうことだって聞いてるんだ。
どうしてそれを。
さっきお前の家に。そんなことはどうだっていい。それよりクルスはどこへ行ったんだ。
He'd probably gone to the apartment and gotten it out of Yuto or Yamazoe. I was worried that he might have scared Yuto, but he pulled tighter on my collar and I couldn't speak.
宮代、お前 この前俺が言ったことを覚えてるよな。今度クルスに何かあったらただじゃおかない。そう言ったよな。忘れたとは言わせねえぞ。
He had said that, but
川原君には関係ないだろう。なんだと？これは僕たち家族の問題だ。君には関係ない。
his fists hit my face several times before I could finish my sentence.
ふざけんな!
I was terrified when I saw how bloodshot his eyes were.
何が家族だ？関係ない。俺に言わせりゃ関係ないのはお前の方だ。
Oof. This time he kicked me and I fell backward into a puddle of water. Damn, this beating. Another sharp kick landed as I tried to stagger back to my feet. It hit me in the solar plexus and knocked all the air out of my lungs.
お前なんかより、お前よりも俺の方がクルスとの時間はずっと長いんだよ。それを後から来てお前みたいなやつと家族笑わせんな。クルスはな、同情でしょうがなしにお前のことを弟だって言ってただけなんだよ。それを調子に乗りやがって、何が関係ないだ。
His fist cut through the air and smashed into my cheek. I smelled something strange in the back of my nose and as the flesh of my cheek dug into my face. Ew. Damn it. I didn't care if he was hitting me. No. I was the cause of the return of the new generation madness and I hurt Kurusu Minami-sama in a fit of rage. Maybe I deserved it. But it pissed me off that I couldn't fight back.
何がおかしい？別に。ただ、なんだよ。言えよ。
Just like I thought, the slightest provocation set him off. It was just a sign of his stupidity.
ほらどうした？言わないならまた。わかった。そこまで聞きたいなら教えてやるよ。
Each time I spoke, I tasted something metallic in my mouth, but I kept speaking anyway.
クルスはな、お前のことなんてなんとも思っちゃいない。
Oh, damn.
何？いや、むしろ嫌いなんじゃないか。なんだよそれ。クルスがそう言ってたのか？いや、でもバカ。だよそれ。
Oof.
根拠もないくせに嘘ばっか言いやがって仕返しのつもりかよ。
My chest, my sides, my back.
根拠ならある。ああ、だったら言ってみろよ。
It must have bothered him because once I started to talk, he stopped hitting me. He was a small man.
お前が南沢千里のこと嫌ってただろ。南沢？当たり前だろ。あんな気持ち悪いやつ誰だって嫌がる。それがどうした？それも全部あいつには分かってた。そんなやつにあいつが心を許すわけないだろう。お情けで付き合ってもらってたのはお前の方だよ。てめえ！誰がお情けだよ！適当なこと言いやがって！
At this point, I was basically a punching bag. I felt like burning irons were being pressed all over my body. My sense of balance was thrown off and the pain kept me from thinking. Everything stopped seeming... Whoops. Everything stopped seeming... real. Okay. I started losing... Oh. Losing the ability to think clearly. Maybe it would be better if I just... Kawahara spat on my cheek, but the rain washed it away. He's still goading him, wow. I forced myself to stand through the pain. This is punishment.
こいつまだどうした僕はまだ生きてるそうどうせなら殺してくれよ何ほら僕が憎いんだろムカつくんだろだったら殺せばいいじゃないかほら僕は抵抗なんてしない
That's right. This was all my fault. What happened with Sadaka? What happened with the murders?
殺せよほらやってみろよ
And what happened with Kurusu? So...
殺してくれよなんなんだよいきなりどうかしてるよお前
A strange, nervous smile formed on his face as I approached him, and then he turned around and fled into the pouring rain. Wait, the only thing I hate worse than subtitles is slow scrolling subtitles. Oh, I can actually turn that up. But I didn't see the point of actually no, I think for voices they just go to the same speed as the speaker. Let's see. Yeah, because I think I have to set pretty low. I think this message speed only speeds up only during the parts when they're not talking. After I couldn't see him anymore, I fell to my knees on the ground. Like I can actually like speed it up by clicking on it. I spit up a hunk of blood. And then let the rain fall down from the dull gray sky. Actually, I can probably speed that up a bit more. The minimum? The minimum? Moo! What's up, Tangent? How you doing? Are you off work already? Trucks. You're not sure? I know what's up. The ceiling. That's what's up. Yeah, been almost an hour. That's cool. That's always nice. Howdy. Hello online. How are you? Wait, hold on. Why didn't he kill me? I should never have been alive at all. Then this never would have happened. Wait. It feels like it's going even slower. Did I make it slower? I made it slower. I made it slow. So, do I have to go like this then? I thought that was supposed to be faster. Because I thought minimum was supposed to be faster. Okay, hold on. Let's test this. Sadaka wouldn't have hurt any- okay, never mind. That's really fast. It's too fast. Like that? And sheesh. Wait, oh, now it's going too fast. I think that's why I had it set like that. Auto mode speed, I might have to put that up a little bit. Then this would never have happened. Yui and Dad would still be alive, Sadaka wouldn't have hurt anyone, and she would have been able to start her new life as Nono Kurusu, if it weren't for me. Noah senpai, that's too fast.
わかった。あなたのその望み、
That's what she
叶え
said.
てあげる。
I felt something freezing cold and sharp at my neck. Uh-oh. I didn't have to turn around to see who it was.
おのえ
タク、
Oh no, it was behind me, smiling happily as she put the blade up to my neck.
やっと言ってくれたね。タクの本当の望み。
おのえいつからそこに
ずっといたよ。私はタクと一緒だもん。子供の頃からそうだったでしょ。いつだって ずっと一緒。
ずっと。
ずーっとタクのそばにいて、タクがどうして欲しいのかを知る。そのためだけに生まれてきたんだもん。
Ah, so that was it. I finally understood who Sadaka Onoe really was. She was truly a part of me.
尾上、僕は。
大丈夫だよ。何も言わなくても、私には分かってる。
Is she gonna kill me? Slowly. Her blade moved just an inch. I could feel a warm drop of liquid running down my neck.
それじゃあ、行くね。
He's just taking it. This is for the best. This is... I slowly closed my eyes.
さよなら、タク。
So final. The air shook a little. And there was the sound of something cutting through it. Oh. That startled me. Without even feeling pain, Cold drops of rain were hitting my neck.
お前
I opened my eyes and saw... No. She took on her original ID. Senri Minami-sama. No, it was...
タク。
Nono. No. Wow, Senri Minami-sama is very flat-chested, by the way.
南沢千里。
Nani?
お前どうしてそれにその姿を。
もう偽るのはやめたの。
I kind of like her voice, though. Senri's voice.
これが私の南沢千里の本当の姿。
I wonder if they use the same voice actress.
これで
Or if
全
it's a
てを
different
失う
one.
ことになったとしても、もう嘘はつきたくないから。
Senri's kind of cool here.
家族に隠し事はしたくないから。だからたとえこの姿であなたに嫌われたとしても、私は本当の私でいることに決めたの。
Nono stood in front of me with the dye sword in her hand.
南沢千里。今さら何をしに来た
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a energy drink. I will be back, and I will leave this scene for you guys to enjoy. I'll be back after this commercial break. Okay, I'm back. This is kind of like a scene out of a Soul Calibur game. That's Soul Calibur. Okay. What do you want? It's too late.
あなたなら聞かなくても分かってるんでしょ。
I guess their weapons do kind of look a little bit like Soul Calibur-ish.
タクルを守りによ。
Wait, oh, sorry. I thought I had it on auto. I was just waiting.
その醜く無様な姿で
Wow.
そうよ。これが
Senry's not
私の
ugly.
姿だから。
She's not ugly at all. She's kind of cute.
面白い。でも邪魔をするな。お前の出番はもう終わった。
It was all a game. Nono flinched back in fear as a blade sliced through the raindrops. Her expression twisted in pain. It's like a game within a game. Not exactly. I think when she says game, she's referring more to this whole masterminded plan that she put together to entertain Takeru. So if I'm to understand what Setika's role in this world is, she was brought to life by Takeru's powers. So she's actually his imaginary friend, brought to life as a real human. So when he realized his psychic powers, he brought her to life, but he unknowingly did that. And his only wish at the time was for Setika to help him do things in life. And I guess that's more interpreted as like to give him like a purpose in life or something, or I don't know. I don't really understand it myself too well. But so she's orchestrated this whole like murder like game, she calls it. So like it gives him something to do. And it's like, wow, she's done it all for that reason, just for that. Just to give him something to do. Wait, hold on. I keep hearing something vibrating, but it's not my phone? Or am I hearing it from outside? It's hard to tell. I'm wearing headphones. Anyways. It was only then that I saw the blood and the cut on her shoulder.
まだその名前で呼んでくれるんだ。
そんなことより肩。
さっきちょっとかすっちゃったみたい。でもこのくらい。
何が邪魔をするなと言っているこの偽物が。
私はもうクルスノノの偽物なんかじゃない。私は南沢千里。本物の南沢千里よ。
It was a type of resolve. You could call it determination. The determination to abandon a life she'd lived for years and be reborn anew.
そんなことどっちだっていい。私は宮代拓の望みを叶えてあげるだけ。だからお前は邪魔なんだよ。
Oh, and also Vegeta, I saw that the one on the right, the weapon kind of looks like Soul Edge. I don't really know. I know Soul Calibur, but I'm not really familiar with all the different weapons and characters in it, unfortunately. I'm not a big fighting game player.
そうだ。宮代拓は自分なんていなければいいと思った。消してくれと思った。だから私がその望みを叶えてやる。
Wait, so just because his wish changes, she's actually just gonna go with that, I guess? So his wish can fluctuate and she'll just be there to like help him achieve these things?
なぜならそれが私、尾上セリカの存在する理由だから。
Okay, I think her existence is based on just helping him do the things he wants to do. I think that was what his wish was, to have Sadaka help him do things.
だからそこをどけ。
そんなのダメよ。私が許さない。
I'm not a big fan of fighting games either, but I love Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur. Nice. Like, I always watch people like play those games and it looks fun, but I'm just like, I'm no good at them. I'm no good at like remembering like the combos and stuff. It would take me a long time to actually probably get decent at like fighting games. Wait, hold on. There must be something going on outside because I keep hearing something that sounds almost like a vibrator, like a phone vibrating. I don't play them online, lol, just in case my friends, they still get my arse kicked in. Yeah, that would be me. Like, I would be scared to like play online because I'd suck so bad. And I just button mash against my friends. Sounds like a vibrator. That sounds like something vibrating. No, I don't think it's in my house. I thought it was. I sort of thought it was my phone like vibrating, but it's not doing anything. There's no notification of any sort. Whatever. I guess it's something going on outside my house. Sadaka's sword was designed to attack, but Nono's dai sword was heavy, and as hurt as she was, it seemed hard for her to use. Nono wasn't Nono anymore anyways. She was Senri Minamisawa. But I did recently get the new Smash Brothers only because Joker from Persona 5 is a DLC character in it. Just purely for that one character. That's all you bought like a full on like retail game for. That's pretty hardcore. She was feeling the pain from all the terrible experiments she's suffered over the years. Wait, why? It's been like 6 years. Why is she feeling all these pain? I don't understand this. And another thing about when she assumed the role of Nono is that the fact that she was able to like grow into Nono, like the older version of Nono. Like how is that possible? I don't know. Her power is really weird. People in online fighting games feel bloodthirsty at times. Yo lol. Sadaka's attack slowly started to push Nono back. That's a pretty cool CG there though. I likes it. Nono. The blades shook like thunder. A swirl of wind appeared around Sadaka's feet. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm back for sure. Hopefully. Or her weapon kind of looks like Krauser's arm when he transforms in RE4. Krauser. Oh yeah, that guy. Are you talking about her hand? Like this one? Maybe. Or are you talking about the other girl? No, the other chick. Oh, okay. I don't really remember what Krauser's arm looks like when he transforms. The way her sword is shaped. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, a lot of their weapons, or yeah, their swords, I quote swords, kind of look like organic looking, but not exactly. The fierce blow knocked Nono to her knees. Her tiny, thin neck was defenseless and exposed. I just, whenever I see this, it just makes me think of like Mr. Bomb or people who have commented on like how tiny their necks are in this series and how big their heads are. Lameo, I've lost count of how many times I beat RE4. That's insane. I've only beat RE4 once. Just that one time on stream. Stretches, yawns, rubs eyes. Hello, Jazareth. Did you have a nice nap? I see you've awoken. What the hell? I keep hearing this buzzing noise. Hold on. I don't know what the fuck that noise is. Refreshed. Oh. Okay, let's finish this battle out. A cold voice and a white flash. Yeah, I think I am going insane. I'm hearing things. Oh no, does Senri get stabbed? I pointed the weapon I pulled from the sea of chaos, feeling its heft in my hand. Wow, that face looks like full of despair. It's not like her cutesy face when she's like, got tears in it. I like how she's saying that with a tearful face. Well, maybe I want to live now. Maybe it wouldn't be that easy to forgive her for lying to me, but everything she'd done for us, she'd done as a part of her family, not as Nono Kurusu or Senri Minamisawa. She'd given us her love. Coffee and cookie sounds good. Headed upstairs. Be right back. Alright. I like how you just brought that up. Coffee and cookie. Like, that never came up in the game. But coffee and cookie does sound good. Why? Because you tried to kill me first, you psycho tsundere. I would actually call her a yandere, not a tsundere. Look up the definition of a yandere, and she kind of fits that more to a T. Wishes changes, Sirika. It was real love. It probably didn't matter what her name was or where she was born or what she looked like. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. When he met her, she still loved him, you know? She still showed him love. It didn't matter what identity she had assumed. What I really wanted, it was to once more. Okay, I don't know the character too well. Lol. That's true. Serika looked up at me and smiled, then readied her weapon. Well, a yandere is like a character who shows like intense love for another character, but then like she kind of goes to insane, crazy lengths for that love. You know what I mean? So that's what your typical yandere is, compared to a tsundere, where she's gonna feel like kind of hot and cold at times, but she's not crazy. Wait, she still wants to fucking kill me even though I told her I changed my mind. The Dai sword became a hurricane of light as she attacked me. The music suddenly got all like all fighty. It was one thing to say it, but I was still feeling the pain from where Kawahara had hit me, and just knocking back Sadaka's attacks was enough to make my body scream. Oh yeah, he took a beating from Kawahara. Yeah, basically. One of those, I love you, but even look at another girl and I'll cut your nipples off. Yeah, basically. And actually in this particular route, in Nono's route, Sadaka is coming off as extremely kind of jealous of Nono, which is kind of interesting because she doesn't really show that same kind of jealous emotion in the normal route. Shining beams collided, scattering rainbows everywhere. Sword and sword collided like two magnets drawn to each other. My lungs hurt like they were on fire. Sadaka found a hole in my defenses and attacked. Her dai sword knocked mine upward and threw me off balance. The glowing weapon went straight for my exposed neck. I put my hand up to protect my throat. Whoa, what happened? The inside of my left wrist was torn open. I felt the heat before I felt the pain. The warm rain fell down and spread the blood into a puddle on my feet. That doesn't sound good. I bit down on my teeth hard to keep from passing out, and then tried to judge the distance between us again. The fierce blade struck again. I just barely managed to move out of the way in time. At this rate, she would kill me. Like Sadaka said, if I didn't attack her, this was only going to end one way. But the pain, exhaustion, rain, and sweat were already blurring my vision. My strength was at its limits. If I could just land one hit. One hit! I blocked her attack with the blade of my sword and threw her off balance just a little. The air of self-satisfaction vanished from her face and was replaced by fear. I didn't miss my chance. What I wanted wasn't destruction. It was a future with Minami-sama. That's right. That was my choice. I put all my strength and all my wishes into a single swing of the blade. Sadaka raised her weapon right in front of me. A bluff? Was it a trap? No. If she countered now, there was no way I could. I saw her smile. And then? Minami-sama was gonna come in and save me. She fell to the ground. I could still feel the sensation in my hands. Red blood spread silently on the asphalt. Sadaka knew exactly what I was going to do. If she wanted to kill me, she could have. So why? Because she's a mind reader, which is why she should have known how he was going to move. That's so messed up. She'd even give her life to give him this world she thinks he wants. Sadaka smiled at her faintly.
つだけ。
僕にできることなら
私を終わらせて。それができるのはタクだけだから。タクル。
Just like she asked, I took the dye sword and pointed it at her body. But
どうしたの？
できない。
しょうがないな、タクは。
she smiled happily and grabbed the blade with a shaking hand. And then
バイバイ、タク。
the dye sword went through her body without a sound. Wait, did she just stab herself with the sword? She stabbed herself with the sword.
Oh no.
The girl I'd created, the girl who was always there for me, was surrounded by a cocoon of light, which vanished into thin air. Wait, so she didn't even leave behind a body? The veil of rain that had covered the sky had vanished, leaving behind a stench on the asphalt. I looked up at the sky and saw a rainbow in the heavens. I could hear the crunching sound of footsteps on gravel going further into the distance.
Nono!
見ないで。
I was about to turn back, but stopped when I heard the rejection in her voice.
ごめんね、タクル。もう二度とあなたの前に姿を現したりしないから。
No, not Nono.
でもね、これだけは信じてほしいの。確かに私は嘘をついていたけれど、あなたたちのことを大切な家族だって思ってた。
The family that she never had.
お願いよ。信じてくれる？
Nono.
私はもうクルス・ノノじゃない。
The footsteps started again. Nono was leaving. We would never see her again.
今までありがとう。さようなら。
No, so final. Sayonara. I turned around and saw a small girl. She was facing away from me. It was the first time I'd seen her, but I'd seen her 1,000 times before.
Nono!
I ran after her and grabbed her hand and forced her to look at me.
いや、やめて。
どうして？
だって私はののちゃんじゃない。こんな醜い顔タクルには見せたくない。
I held her close as she squirmed and tried to look away.
ごめん。僕は間違ってた。お前がクルスノノか南沢千里かなんて関係なかった。
Exactly.
どうだってよかったんだ。
As I was saying all along. Senri looked up at me in surprise, and for the first time I could see her face. It was different than Nono's. It didn't have her bright charm or her bold features, but
だってお前が僕の家族で僕にとって大事な人だってことには何も変わりはないんだから。
タク。
tears fell from Senri's eyes. Memories came flooding back to me.
そうだよ。いつも僕を見てくれていたのはこの瞳だったんだ。動けない僕を献身的に看病してくれたのも、辛く苦しいリハビリに時には励まし、時には叱咤してくれたのも、僕のしでかすバカなことに本気で怒って本気で笑って、そして本気で泣いてくれたのも、いつだってそばで見守ってくれていたのはこの瞳だ。いつだって差し伸べてくれたのはこの小さな手だった。全部お前だった。
Always you.
確かにお前は嘘をついてた。クルス・ノノじゃなかったかもしれない。 けど、僕を絶望の闇から救ってくれたのは本物のクルス・ノノじゃない。南沢千里、お前だった。
That was the truth. So
私を許してくれるの？
I nodded silently.
クルス・ノノじゃなくても？
言っただろ、お前が僕の恩人で家族だってことは変わらない。
That would take a little bit of adjusting though, you'd think, to get used to this person that looks different. I held her tight so that she would never go anywhere again. And I
千里、
I said her name. Her real name.
何？
おかえり。
Aww. Aww.
ただいま。
Humans are temporal beings. I think it was a philosopher named Heidegger who said that. Time moves from the past to the future, and time is what rules over human lives. I want to see what the tip says. A German philosopher, born in 1889 and died in 1976, a critic of metaphysics who used phenomenology to support his theory of ontology. He defined time as past, present, and future, which are three equal, continuous, and infinite things. His theory says that the present is the principal axis upon which the past and future are decided, and time is created. Interesting. Let's take her upstairs already. But she's like his sister though. In that process, the past is lost and new things are generated? Or born. The return of the new generation madness gradually began to fade from people's minds. The girl named Setaka Onoi, who was a person of interest in the case, vanished, and without any firm evidence it was impossible to know if she ever existed at all. No, they're not blood related. The case came to an end without a satisfactory answer, and then the four of us still lived in that cheap apartment.
ほら、ユウト、早く準備しないと遅れるわよ。
ちょっと待ってよ。この番組終わったらやるから。
そうやってテレビばっかり見て、ウキちゃんはもう準備できてるって。
But that's like, but Vegeta, that's like, if say, you had an adopted brother or sister and you guys lived together from when, like, you were really, really, really young. I mean, how old was he? I don't know. I don't remember how old they were, but maybe in grade 4 or something? 4, 5, or 6. It was an elementary age, right? So they grew up from when they were elementary age together. And they'd always been together.
行ってきます。
So it would be kind of difficult to see somebody in like a romantic capacity if you grew up that way, but I mean it does happen. It does happen, but not typically. Even if you're not blood related.
待って、僕も行くよ。
It does happen, yeah, but it's rare. Yeah, exactly.
行ってきます。
Ascendi. Mornings were always busy like this.
たく、あんまりうるさくしてると。
The pounding on the wall was another thing we'd gotten used to.
また後でうるさく言われるな。
しょうがないわね。また夜にクッキーでも焼いてお裾分けしとくわ。
頼むよ。
Don't they have to go to school?
どうした？
まさかこんな日が来るとは思ってなかったな。
Nono Kurusu becoming Senri Minamisawa had created no end of problems. Of course, Yuto and Yamazoe weren't sure how to handle it all. Her name and appearance were totally different. I knew it would be impossible for them to think of her as the same person. But inside, she was the same. She'd gone back to looking like Senri Minamisawa, sure. But she was still Nono Kurusu, the cheerful, helpful girl who'd kept the household running. After a few days of living with her, both of them got used to the idea that Senri Minamisawa was their sister. Of course, they were family. We couldn't exactly tell everyone else that Nono Kurusu was actually another girl all along. So it ended up that Kurisu just went to live with some very distant relatives, just as a new transfer student named Senri Minamisawa came to the school. That's convenient. It was hard for her to rebuild her relationships with her old pals from the ground up, but she pulled it off. Aw, that's sweet. Of course, a few of them.
Oh, チャオス、宮代先輩、クルス。有村さん。あー、じゃなかった。南沢先輩。
Oops.
お前な、いい加減慣れてくれよ。
I guess she knows the truth.
んなこと言ったって、そう簡単に行くもんじゃないですよ。ねえ、花。
ねえ。We told the people who knew about the case the real story.
つうかさ、3年なんだし、今さら無理して学校来なくてもよかったんじゃねえの？
僕もそう言ったんだけどな。
Wait, did I miss something? What did Yuto and Uki thought of Minami living with them with her real face and all? I'm pretty sure they explained it to her, like they probably told them the truth, and eventually they just accepted the fact that, yeah, she's their sister. Did the blonde one had fangs, or was it the animation style made it look that way? You mean the blonde twin tail girl? Yeah, I think she did have, like, kind of, cheeky fangs, because her character is kind of like a cheeky kind of character.
あのままみんなと別れてしまうのは寂しいじゃない？
そんなもんかね。
I never would have taken a risk like that just to see the people in my class, but maybe that was just a sign of how she'd change.
で、今日の部活は？
悪い。今日はちょっと行くところがあって。
行くところ？
ええ。なに先輩方2人で？もしかして無夫婦な感じ？
無夫婦？
違うわよ。そういうんじゃなくて。
無夫婦。
わかってますよ。まあ、
Wait, why is it so faded on this side of the screen? Is that just me?
それよりタクル。
Is this supposed to be like sunlight pouring in? The sun? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, it just looks weird. We said goodbye to everyone and left. The sun was the same color it had been after the rain stopped on that day. We headed for...
Nono-chan.
It was a grave, far away from Shibuya in the suburbs. The body that had been originally buried as Senri Minamisawa had now been quietly interned in the Kurusu family grave as Nono Kurusu. Nono Kurusu. She was a girl I knew well, but one I'd never actually met. That's quite the illustration there. Senri put her hands together in silent prayer as she faced the cold grave. There was so much she hadn't been able to say, so much that she wanted to say. Nono Kurusu and Senri Minamisawa were finally talking to each other as different people now. The sin of using her, the sin of burying her, the sin of lying. The guilt from those sins would never go away, but still.
ごめんね、ノノちゃん。これからたくさん辛いこと、悲しいこともあるかもしれないけど、それでも私はもう逃げたりなんてせず、立ち向かっていこうと思う。南、それが私にできる。
Oops, I cut her off.
あなたへの手向けだと思うから。
The smoke from the incense rose towards the sky, blown about by the wind, and in the wind...
頑張って、セニちゃん。
Aww. I thought I heard a voice. Everything that had happened so far was a mix of plots, misunderstandings, miscommunications, and successful efforts. So whenever I wanted to cry at what I'd become...
タクル？ん？これからも私のこと見守ってくれる？
I'd take the hand of the girl next to me, feel her warmth, and walk with her together, just like she'd done for me, for the sake of tomorrow, and for the future. That was a very, very happy ending. Now I'm kind of wondering if I should have done Uki's story. Because if I... Oh, that's really loud. The song is always really loud. pull that down a little bit. How many endings does this game has? Jeez. There is the common route, there's Hinai's route, there's Hana's route, there's Uki's route, and there's Nono's route, and then there's the true ending. So I think there's 6 main endings. That's not even counting like the bad endings you can get within some of the characters' routes. So yeah. 6 main endings. Oops. Anyway, skipped. This always pops up. Did I have fun? It's always about having fun with what's her name? Real Sky End. Achievement unlocked. Heads or tails? Okay. There we go. I can turn it back up a little bit. Trying to decide if I want to keep going or if I should just call the stream here. And then that way I can go and have some lunch and stuff like that. I haven't eaten yet. So 6 main endings with bad endings for each, so about 12 endings in total. Damn, no, there's actually even more than that. Not all the characters have bad endings. Some of them do, some of them don't. I know Uki's ending is supposed to have like... Oh, actually no, Uki's ending has 2 different outcomes. I don't know if you consider them good, but 2 different outcome endings. And then 4 bad endings. Keep going! Even more, Jesus. Okay, if I keep going, I'm gonna have to, we can either explore Hana's bad ending, or we can go and unlock Uki's ending. So I haven't queued up Uki's ending. Alright, maybe I'll just keep going for maybe another 10-15 minutes, and then I'm probably gonna end it so that way I can have some time to eat my lunch. Where did I leave off? Or do I need to start over? Oh, I might need to start over for this one. I might need to start over. So I hadn't even started Uki's attempt. So I think for Uki, I need to go negative for everything. Let me double check how to unlock her ending. Uki's ending. Okay. You need to select all... Ah! I clicked a button. I clicked it by accident. Okay, you need to see... You need to select all negative delusions except for the delusion that occurs after you leave the hospital in chapter 5. Okay. So I have to make sure at chapter 5 I select a positive at the right one. Negative. Skip. I don't know if I saw this one. But wait a second. Sadaka just said it would depend on the person. Wait, what was she talking about? Oh, we were talking about something to do with the magazine, I think. Yeah, I think she caught eye of a Cool Cat article, so that's what she was talking about. I think it's really polite, but nobody's ever asked me out, so I don't know. Grr, what's going on here? Cool Cat, it would depend on the person asking the question. Of course it would. Sadaka and I have known each other for a long time. We'd been friends since we were little, and we still spent a lot of time with each other. Which means there's a good chance that she likes me. In other words, if I went for it, could I at least get a kiss? That's right. Cool Cat Press said the same thing in the October 10th, 1999 edition. It was a special titled, How to Silence a Woman by Kissing Her. This fall, women are waiting for your kiss. Share an unbalanced kiss and fall in love. What the hell's an unbalanced kiss? Do whatever it takes to trick her into kissing you. He who dares wins. What the fuck? Do whatever it takes to trick her into kissing you?
Onoe. ちょっとだけいいか?
He's trying to trick her now. I grabbed and confused Sadaka and forced her down on the bed. Oh no. This sounds really wrong. Unbalanced kiss, a massive amount of saliva for 1%. That's slobber. He who dares wins, and they say kisses are magic. If I kiss Seneca, maybe she'll fall in love with me. I wasn't sure I wanted Seneca to fall in love with me, but it really felt like I was just grabbing the first girl that was available, but... I just really wanted to kiss anyone, it didn't matter who. That sounds desperate. I felt a strong shock along my left cheek. My head shook. I was seeing stars.
Taku... Kimoi.
Oof. Her words stabbed like daggers into my heart. All the excitement I'd felt was washed away in an instant. Damn, even I'm not that desperate. Wow. Damn.
Taku? なんでそんな顔真っ赤にしてプルプル震えてるの？
いや、別に。
別に. Forcing her to the bed was basically a crime. Bad idea, yeah. I'm not like your average teenager who's only thinking of the opposite sex. If my simulation with Seneca went that badly, trying it with any other girl was sure to end with me in handcuffs.
それよりタク、500円ちょうだい。
Why? For what? Hush money? Wait. That was just a simulation.
500円って何の話?
There we go. I can't remember why she wanted $500, but or gohaki yen. 500 yen. 500 yen is just $5, actually. Wait, was that just a what if scene? The fuck? Yeah, so in this game, you encounter like these... Okay, so this is called a delusion point. So that you can either choose a positive or a negative outcome, right? So it's just like this what if that runs through his head, like a delusion trigger. This was class 3-1. Oh, we'll just speed through it. What the hell? What is this? Like a frog gangster, like Yakuza gang? Suddenly all the ghetto froggies in the classroom stood up on their own. There were easily more than 30 of them. Aren't they like plushies? It took me a second to process what I was seeing, but who could blame me? Who wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of ghetto froggy dolls started walking around of their own free will? The next thing we knew, we were surrounded. We were like frogs in the clutches of a hungry snake. Or maybe humans in the clutches of angry frogs? Pretty sure that's an old term for French people. Les meow. Wait, what's an old term for French people? Froggies? No, in this scene they're really just frog, like plush frogs. Oh, froggies. I don't know. Their eyes weren't smiling. This felt really bad. One of my classmates carelessly approached the green ghetto froggy. Oh god, what the hell happened? It was too late. The green ghetto froggy launched itself like a missile at his mouth, then forced its way down his throat. Then it ripped its way out of his stomach from the inside. What the hell? He's still conscious enough to actually realize he had something pop out of his stomach. Something long, pink, and glistening slid out from the gaping hole in the stomach. Gross. That's when the screaming began. No one escaped the classroom alive. The ghetto froggies showed no mercy. They indiscriminately slaughtered both boys and girls, and I was the least lucky of them all. I was the last survivor. If only they'd killed me sooner, I wouldn't have had to piss myself in despair, trapped in a classroom where the walls were covered in blood and guts and brains. I wouldn't have had to see my classmates die. To us? It's not showing anything. It's fine. It's fine. What the hell's with these frogs? Gero. This is the weirdest one ever. The green frog leapt towards my mouth. A huge wet lump forced its way down my windpipe and inside of me. I should have chewed off my own tongue and died that way with a frog stuck in my throat, but it was too late for regrets now. Some regrets. The mental image though. That's like something out of a cheesy horror movie. Wrongsiders these days preferred big budget action movies. Something like this would never sell to them. I erased the stupid simulation from my mind. Okay, I'm gonna do one more delusion, and then I think I'm going to end my stream there, so that I have some time to eat my lunch thing. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes, and she was about to come inside. Oh, it was Nono. I moved quickly. She staggered forward, but I reached out my hand to keep her from falling. For some reason, I felt a powerful impact on the top of my skull as I slammed into the ground. My vision went black. I was about to pass out. What the heck just happened? I like how he came in and like explained it all. Oh damn. That knockout. Wait, oh, that was a really short scene. Oh well. Given that was just one possibility, I probably shouldn't do anything. I've fallen and can't get up. Sup, Mr. Bomb? Did you really fall? Okay, I'm gonna save it here. Save. Where should we save this? I guess I can save it on here since we're done with Nono's chapter. Let me update this. Uki progress to unlock. Since we haven't unlocked Uki's ending yet. No, I'm comfy in bed and I don't want to get up. Wait, dude, it's like 1:45 in the afternoon. Yep, you have a good lunch. Alrighty, man. You too. Okay, I'm gonna look for somebody to raid. Since we got a few people here. It's like every negative delusion results in Taku getting maimed in some way. Sometimes it's just like a really weird scenario, which I guess the froggy one was like a combination of weird and him getting killed. But let's see. All right, I'm gonna raid another streamer called Pichu Shouldn't Talk. She's a cool streamer. Looks like she's doing some art, I guess. Here, you guys can enjoy some random art stream. She's painting her shelves. Interesting. Okay. Well, whether if you guys are okay with it or not, we're going anyways. We're gonna go say hi, and I'm gonna go and eat my lunch. But thank you to everyone who came out for today's stream. Not really much to say other than, yeah, I'm glad that we finally got to finish another ending. I just got here though, QQ. I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning, possibly. Or if I'm really feeling up to it, maybe tonight, but I think I should stop doing these night streams. I'm kinda losing sleep over them. So I think I'll just stream tomorrow morning instead. Alrighty. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next stream, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!